participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273 Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come on down. We got ourselves a hot topic kicking off the Daily Ticket right here on The Gambler. It's a Tuesday edition. Luke Arcaini joining me from the jump. I expected to talk a lot about the North of the Border series between the Toronto Blue Jays and our Philadelphia Phillies, mixing in a little odds and ends from the NBA Finals, the association. I did not think. And if you have been listening to this show specifically, we have addressed this situation now for the last 3 weeks plus on whether or not the Knicks would say if they come up short, Tom Thibodeau is a guy that can get you to a nice spot, but eventually cannot get you over the top. There have been other coaches that we have viewed as such as Steve Kerr, of course, getting the opportunity from Mark Jackson and Golden State. We listed some examples over the years. It's not something that we would have thought it would have happened out of nowhere. These things do happen from time to time in the NBA and professional sports across the board, more so in the NBA. Tom Thibodeau out as the New York Knicks head coach with a 226-174 overall record, 5 seasons. He is 1 game over 500 in the playoffs. And again, just brought the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. Made the playoffs in 4 out of 5 years. And the Knicks are saying thanks, but no thanks. It's not good enough. Unbelievable. I am shocked. And I should not be, because it's the association. It's the NBA. The main reason why I am shocked, and it's because Sam Oshtry was very, very opinionated on this conversation, and he was right. Because when you look at Jalen Brunson, whose father is on the team, the communication, the friendship, the partnership, the knowing of each other, familiarity between, of course, front office, Leon Rose, Dolan, all the way through Tom Thibodeau, and the success that they just had with Brunson being the main player and saying at the end of the game 6 that Thibodeau is the guy. He had his trust. He believed that he was a coach that could get them to the promised land. Not so fast. Sorry, Jalen Brunson. You might be the big man on campus, but you are not the decision maker. Tom Thibodeau out as head coach of the New York Knicks. Now, Luke Arcaini joining me. Luke, good afternoon. How are we doing today, sir?
Good afternoon. Rip up the show notes, delete the emails, everything changes. Nothing crazy, man. Just insane. I mean, listen, if you're a team like the Knicks and you go into a series like that, and no matter how Tyrese Halliburton plays and no matter how Pascal Siakam plays, that Knicks team was expected to win that series. The Knicks should have won that series, and they came up short to a team that they should have beat. So, by sports ways, that's a lot of time how it goes. There has to be a scapegoat. I think this Knicks front office knows that this roster is the best chance that they've had in a while. And if they don't think he's the right guy to lead the way, then there's no point in keeping him around here. I think we all know, when you think of Thibs, you think of all of the complaints from people saying how they run guys 48, 49 minutes a game. Even if they go to overtime, they don't sit the whole game. Maybe this team just continues to burn out. And maybe they just need a new voice in there. I think there's a voice we all might have in the back of our head that I know is going to get thrown around. But they have a chance to maybe go in there and get a new face, whether that's from out of house, whether that's a guy internally that they really like. But I think a name that maybe might not be at the top of their list, but I think the most popular name that we're going to see is our old friend, Jay Wright.
That's correct. I just got off the phone. Of course, we have some great connections, great relationships, great partnerships with the fine folks over at Villanova. Jay is still a mainstay. He is awesome on television, has a great gig as far as CBS Sports is concerned around the college basketball game. Yeah, we've heard it all. We know. Like, he is the first call for a lot of teams out there. And if you don't make the call, you're at least thinking about him. No doubt about it, and rightfully so. Now, Luke, you can hit the rewind button and go back years. I'm talking about 5+ years that I have always said that I thought Jay Wright would come out and coach one place and one place only. And it was Madison Square Garden. It was the New York Knicks. And this is pre-Brunson, pre-Josh Hart, pre-all Villanova flavor. That was something that I've always said, and I believed it would take something special, not just a price tag, but something special to get Jay Wright out of retirement. And I thought that, you know what? There was truth. There is definitely truth behind him wanting to coach the 76ers. We do know that. There was that opportunity a long, long time ago. And I just felt like if he was going to give coaching another crack, I didn't think he would go to a college campus. I just felt like the NBA would be it. He is the first call, Luke. Jay Wright is the first call. I don't care if he says no. I'm fine. That's not my job. That's not for me to decide as somebody that's doing some hiring for the New York Knicks next head coach. My job is to improve our team, get the most out of our roster, find someone that can coach Cat and Brunson on the floor at the same time. Find someone that isn't going to burn us up. Take all of the positives that you have just had this season and then some and build on that. Somebody that can get you to the promised land. Jay Wright's that guy. Jay Wright is that guy.
I think he can be. But at the same time, and I want to play a little devil's advocate here. If you're this Knicks team and you're a team that wants to go win a championship next year, and you know that you probably have just about all of the pieces that you need. I know there's already some trade rumors for Cat and all this, blah, 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 blah. If you have the core and you have the owner that's willing to spend money and you have the fan base that's finally behind the team.
And the garden.
And the best place in basketball, right? Do you go get a guy that's a college basketball coach? Do you call a guy that has never coached in the NBA? Or do you go get an experienced NBA basketball coach? Personally, I think this team needs an experienced NBA coach before they need Jay Wright. Because I think, and this is a little bit, to me, this is trying to where I know, and I know a lot of people are saying this right now, and this is not the same situation by any means, but it's the same overall kind of thing. A lot of people don't want Reese Hoskins back in Philly because you're just trying to rewrite history. And I think a lot of Knicks fans are going to want Jay Wright back just to rewrite history. While realistically, I think this Knicks team needs an experienced NBA head coach that can coach this group rather than a guy that they're buddy with and they won a championship with.
Just buddy. All right, devil's advocate, fine. And I would like you to at least hone in on a name. Okay, since I'm coming at a name.
I'm not an NBA guy. Come on.
All NBA coaches just throw them underneath. But sure, yeah, underneath the blanket, fine. Anyone, sure.
No, go find a name for you.
Here's my pushback. You ready? Jay Wright, it's basketball. It's basketball, right?
No, it is.
And also, he does have experience from Team USA, which does deal primarily with nothing but NBA players. So he has that connection, has that experience as far as coaching is concerned. I just feel like you want to talk about somebody that you might be getting, again, that rejuvenated vibe coming back. And, oh, by the way, you're going to the Mecca, a place he dominated Big East tournament after Big East tournament every single March. He was at Nova for 21 years. Here's an opportunity for something new to go coach Villanova Light with Jalen Brunson, who is a rock star, who has kicked the door in and showed us that, yeah, you want to doubt me? Believe me, I'm good enough to lead this team to a championship. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks are a solid damn team, 50-plus games. What do we say during the regular season? They struggled versus the teams at the top. Well, okay, but guess what? When it came to matter the most, they beat Boston. They took the Pacers, again, 6 games. I'm not trying to make something out of it that it's not, but Pacers beat Cleveland. So at the end, it doesn't matter with the regular season. I get it, 0-10, fine. But, man, this is a good damn Knicks team. And, oh, by the way, you see the flaws. They need a deeper bench, maybe a little bit of a change as far as the approach with minutes per game. It was ridiculous what Thibodeau did to that team. And I get it. He got them to the Eastern Conference Finals, the farthest they've been in 25 years. He deserves a ton of credit. But, man, yeah, tired legs is a real damn deal. And it was absurd what those numbers were, the amount of minutes played compared to the other teams they're going up against. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, yeah, you got to go up against a team that is just built on pace and three-pointers. Yeah, they had no shot with that, that coaching mindset. I look at Jay Wright, man. Let's be honest about the sports and entertainment side of things. You're in New York City. You want to get people talking, as they already are, about the Knicks. The Pacers won, and we have spent the last 2+ days talking about the Knicks. You want to raise it up to another level? Hire Jay Wright.
I'll throw a name at you, Mike Malone.
Sure.
You
want me to go? Because I'll tell you this. I think it's pretty. How good were the Denver Nuggets this year? They took Oklahoma City to 7 games, right? I know he's got the championship. How good are the Denver Nuggets? He got fired with 3 games left. The team was a disaster. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, he won a championship. You can't deny that. But come on, man. Let's not build him up to a guy that's automatically going to take them to the promised land. He's got a little stink on him right now.
Yeah,
a little
for
stink
sure.
on Mike Malone.
For sure. I just think, listen, I don't think Jay Wright would be a bad hire at all. And quite frankly, I think it probably does make sense because, there is that obvious history there. And listen, if Jay Wright doesn't come back for this job, he's never coming back.
Coming back.
He's not coming back. This is his last opportunity to come back to coaching. Last shot.
That was always it. I did think that Team USA could be something that would present itself. And maybe it's something that, who knows? Jay Wright, again, I made one phone call to a person I trust, somebody that deals, and that's as far as I'll go. I said, could you give me a percentage if the Knicks called? He said 20%. And okay, that's a good enough number. I don't even care if it was 2%. I'm still calling up on the Knicks.
No, I mean, you have to call them. Like you can't not call them. There's once again the obvious connection there. It's just the matter of like how NBA experience do you want to go? And granted, basketball is basketball. It's 5-man strategies here that the college game can be similar to the NBA game, especially when you're as experienced as he is. But if this team's set up to win a championship right now, which I think with the right coach and a good performances by their overall team, they are.
I think more than anything, you need a new general manager's approach as far as filling out that roster. That's only going to help. I don't think that they proved their worth. It wasn't a fluke what the Knicks did. They won 50+ games. Like who was? Oh, it was Greeny saying, "Oh well, this is a mediocre team that Jalen Brunson drugged to the finish line." That was a joke, dude. Like, I get it, you're on national TV and you need a little hot takery, but come on, man, that's a really good roster. We saw front and center last year versus the 76ers, and this year they were just as good, if not better. Of course, they went to the first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. Breaking news, if you're just joining us, we got Luke Arcaini crossing brow. We'll talk some Phillies and the Toronto Blue Jays coming up here in just a second, but Tom Thibodeau out as the New York Knicks head coach. And this has been a hot button topic for the last 3+ weeks on this program. Just a little jab on the way out. We'll always talk about the games, the numbers, the odds, the props, and then we'll get into some of the minutia that doesn't matter until, of course, the season wraps up. And I simply asked that will it be viewed that if Thibs does not get him to the promised land, the NBA Finals, or win a championship, will he be out? Because you could already hear it. You could already see how the picture is being created that, he got him to as far as he could. Now you need somebody else, a fresh new perspective, fresh new voice. And I get it. There are examples that have worked in the past. Specifically, people are going to bring up the Golden State Warriors with Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. Understood. I think you can go even Phil Jackson taking over the Lakers. I get it. But, man, just putting Michael Malone in there, who had the best player, one of the best players in NBA history for years, and then all of a sudden has a great team, one of the best teams in the playoffs, took the eventual champion to 7 games, and he gets fired with 3 games left, and now people are telling me that's the answer? I don't know. I'm not sold on Michael Malone right now. The question I would have, though, Luke, is this. If you make that move, you better have somebody in mind, right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. They have their candidate right
You
now.
think?
You have to.
It is the Knicks.
You have to. Like, and whether it's Jay Wright, Mike Malone, whatever, who it is, and there's obviously way more options. This team's 8-1 to win the finals next year. They have the best odds in the Eastern Conference with the
They
Pacers.
don't have a coach. They don't have a coach.
They're only behind the Thunder, but it's still a good team. They need the right coach in there, and they're gonna have to decide if they call Jay Wright and he wants to do it, then they got to do it, and they need to commit to a guy that's a college coach that has obviously had a ton of experience, but they need to commit to a guy that hasn't coached in a few years, coming back and getting what he got out of Nova from these guys and what these guys have already shown in the league. Like, listen, that chemistry is there. That move makes the most sense as long as Jay Wright wants to come back. It's just the matter of if they want to go after a college basketball coach.
Again, he's more than just a college basketball
And
coach.
no, he is.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
He's a Hall of Fame
Yeah.
college basketball coach.
Well, again, you throw all the accolades in, including Team USA. Here's Jalen Brunson following the Game 6 loss on Saturday night to the Pacers. I hope this is the cut. It's live radio. I don't have an opportunity to listen to it. I believe this is the Tom Thibodeau cut at the end where he drops the microphone and essentially says, yes, he has confidence in Thibs as the guy.
How confident are you that this group has enough to take that next step?
The most confidence, overconfident. Seriously, there's not an ounce of any type of doubt that I'm not confident with this group.
That's not it.
Not your coach.
No, there was a let's see here. There was okay. So this is Thibs right here. This is the day. Anyways, let me go ahead and fire this in the search bar here. Man, I thought I had it. Unfortunately, I don't. Anyways, he was asked at the end. It was the final question of the press conference Saturday night after the loss, whether or not he had confidence in Thibs. Maybe it was the following question. And he came out and said, yes. What type of question is that? And he dropped the microphone. He was upset at the question. Now, I think he owes that reporter an apology because clearly the Knicks were thinking the same way that reporter was. Brunson might have all the confidence in the world, and he might have thought it was a stupid question, but there's the reality. The Knicks just released a statement. I'll have that for you in just a second here. Again, breaking news. The Knicks have fired their head coach. You know what's crazy, too, today, Luke? I worked out in my gym today, and who walked in? Elton
Thibodeau.
Brand.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tom Thibodeau.
Elton Brand. I worked out with Elton Brand.
I have that Knicks statement if you need as well.
Got it right here. Our organization is singularly focused on winning a championship for our fans. This pursuit led us to a difficult decision to inform Tom Thibodeau that we've decided to move in another direction. We can't thank Tom enough for pouring his heart and soul into each and every day of being a New York Knicks head coach. He led us not only with class and professionalism for the past 5 seasons, but also a tremendous success on the court with 4 playoff berths and 4 playoff series victories. Ultimately, we made the decision we feel is best for an organization moving forward. Tom will always be a part of our Knicks family, and we truly wish him nothing but the best in the future. I hope, and that's from Leon Rose. Wow.
So I know we got on here and we were all shocked, right? Like you sent some text, right? You were shocked.
Yes.
Do you think it's the right move? I know you're shocked that it happened, but deep down, like, do you think the Knicks are better with Tom Thibodeau or the field, basically? Because they were 2 games away from the NBA Finals.
And they lost to a better team.
Yeah.
They lost to a better team, right? Like,
Yeah.
And one of the things that goes through my mind, and I'll answer your question in a second, when I talk about the 76ers present day, and we've been down that path, and it's been troublesome to say the least over the past few years. But even if this team was to have success this year and be a 3 seed like the Knicks and losing that second round, maybe the Eastern Conference, I don't know. I don't know if it'd be good enough for the fans. I really don't. I just don't know. And that's kind of where the Knicks fans are. They fully expect somebody to get them to a championship, but the old cliche is this: there's only one team that's happy after it's all said and done. Everybody else is disappointed. And that's where we're at right now. And yesterday, Luke, I said, man, it's funny how fat these Knicks fans are getting. All of a sudden, you get one trip to the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, and the fact that you lost, oh, who are we? We can't lose. We're favored. What are you talking about? We belong in the finals. And I just laughed at that, and I had some fun at their expense yesterday. But here we are now. Knicks fans, maybe we're right. Do I think Thibodeau could have got him over the hump? I think with a deeper bench, I really do believe with a deeper bench, they could have ran with the Pacers a little more.
Yeah.
And with that, they could have advanced. I put the bullseye on front office. And of course, Tibbs is that guy too, as well, making decisions, getting players in there. But the whole approach of run these guys to their dead from the beginning of the season, gas pedal down all the way through until where they just were eliminated. There were stretches that they had tired legs and they blew some big time leads. Now you could flip that on me in the Boston series. They came back down 20 in 2 games. So I to answer your question, I'm not firing Tom Thibodeau unless I got Jay right.
Yeah. So Shams was on the McAfee show, and he said as soon as the Knicks season ended, they started having meetings. They believe that the best path for this team to take the next step is with a new voice. They came to the decision this morning that they're going to part ways with Tom Thibodeau. He went on to say the New York Knicks might be looking for a guy that trusts their bench more, for better or for worse. Tom Thibodeau had a way that he was going to operate. It leads to a lot of success, but clearly the Knicks wanted to change a direction. But like you said, they want a coach that wants to trust their bench more, but you can only trust your bench if you have a good bench, or at least a good enough bench for the playoffs. So, I mean, like you said, like deep down, and it truly always does. I would say there's more percentage of coach firings that it's really the GM's fault first than it is the coach. Because like, if you want a coach to trust a bench in the playoffs, you have to have a deep playable bench for the playoffs. And if this Knicks team only had a few guys that they could really trust off the bench, then he's not going to put guys he doesn't trust into a playoff game.
Look, he was his own worst enemy, but he had his ways, right? So he was having success doing it his way. We are not privy to the conversations that were happening behind the scenes on whether or not why he would play this player or that player. And I'm sure that that's what's going to leak out, as you just read from Shams. If they weren't happy with the way he was using the bench. All right, but I'm sure that they were in love with the fact that they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. Exactly. But, oh, by the way, when he did tweak some things and start using some other players, they did win that game as well. Albeit Brunson was in foul trouble. I believe Cat was as well in that game. Here's another name, Taylor Jenkins. Of course, he was fired by the Memphis Grizzlies after 73 games this year with a 44-29 record. Grizzlies, again, you look at that team, small market, pretty impressive for what they were able to do. Of course, you got a small body as far as John Moran is concerned, small player, short body, whatever you want to say, comparable to Jalen Brunson in somewhat of a conversation, not so much production at this point in time of his career, but still, I think Taylor Jenkins would be a guy that I would be interested in. I'm not saying I'm not interested in Michael Malone, but he's got a little, something going on, man. Like,
why do you win a championship 2 years ago and get fired with the best player of our generation, other than
go take a bath?
So something might be a little fishy there.
Dude, I give Thibs a lot of credit. I know that there's going to be a lot of people, and it's pretty cool because from the standpoint of where we're at in sports, like people know about his style. Like it's well documented. So a lot of people are going to have an opinion on this, and this is good. I like it, albeit the NBA Finals are coming up in 2 days, and it does not feature the Knicks, and we should be talking a little bit more about the two teams that remain. But the Knicks had our attention. they are definitely a talking point over the last few weeks, a focal point, and a lightning rod for discussion. So please have at it at Fox PHL Gambler. We threw a couple names out there. If you're just joining us, first phone call is Sean Barnard. That's the not kidding. First phone call is Jay Wright. I got that camera up just so you know. So you just sit down. You tell me whenever you're ready, and I'll bring you on.
Could Sean Barnard lead the New York Knicks to the NBA Finals?
Here's what I'll say. I'll reset, though, because if you're just joining us about 2:54, literally, p.m. just now, the New York Knicks have fired Tom Thibodeau as the head coach. 5 seasons with the New York Knicks, 226 and 174 regular season record. He was 24 and 23, I want to say, or 25 and 24, one game above 500 for a postseason record. This year was the first time that the Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. Again, he made the playoffs, led the Knicks to the playoffs in 4 of his first 5 years. Consecutive 50-win seasons for the first time since the 1990s for the Knicks.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Thank you, Tom Thibodeau. Unbelievable. So with that, of course, having some fun and being 100% honest, the first conversation, the first phone call that I am making is to one and only Mr. Jay Wright. There's no doubt in my mind that I am calling Jay Wright. Sean Barnard joining us. Sean, how we doing today, man?
Yeah, doing well. I'm glad we have some things to talk about here right off the bat. So excited driving in. I mean, the Tom Thibodeau conversation, I think it's true that when you're fired, it's not always your fault. And I do think that is the case in this situation. I think the problems with the Knicks are far larger than Tom Thibodeau. And if anything, I think he exceeded all expectations or any realistic plans you could have or hopes you could have for that team all season. I think he went above what the ceiling should have been. So I understand the argument that a new voice was needed, that you needed to go in a different direction here. But frankly, I think Thibs is the scapegoat for the roster problems on this team. That I think if anything, we need to have a Karl Anthony Towns conversation. And I think the fear from a Knicks fan perspective should be that they're just going to run this back with a different voice when the reality is the roster needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I think clearly the bench was not good enough.
Sure.
The roster in totality was not good enough to compete with a team that was better than them in the Indiana Pacers. Now, with that being said, here we are with 4 teams remaining. They were one of the 4 Eastern Conference Finals, first time in 25 years. Like, there's a lot to like about what Thibs was able to do this season. I just went down his stats, 50-plus wins. Come on, man. That stands for something. Being able to do that in the Knicks, in that environment, and having guys with clear flaws and being able to lead your team to an Eastern Conference Finals and advance and get better this season. Like, there was enough of a reason. And, oh, by the way, with Brunson and his connections to say, hey, look, we're going to continue to do this. Let's run it back. And let's attack the bench. Let's attack the roster. Let's see where we can improve areas. Some people are saying that you want to get rid of Cat. Some people are saying bring Durant in. Can't you keep Cat and add?
Not really with how much he's making.
Correct.
Is kind of the root of the issue. And that's a lot of like the Karl Anthony Towns problem is like, yes, he has flaws as a basketball player. I mean, he can't defend a single pick and roll. Like all the transition issues they want to go down that Pacers series pretty much exclusively fall on Cat. If you watch the tape from those games, he didn't make a single right read on how to get back on transition. And that's how the Pacers are going to beat you constantly. So you have to look at that. I don't think you can fully throw that on Thibs. He isn't the guy guarding pick and rolls. I'm sure there were conversations saying, yo, Cat, like, be a little smarter on how you get back here. I have to imagine he was maddening from a head coach perspective, but I think that, like, the story once again should be that's the issue, not Tom Thibodeau. And I get it. Like, he is a guy that wears out his welcome. I think that's ultimately the conclusion that has been landed on here, but I do wonder what the conversations were behind the scenes. Is this a Jalen Brunson sign-off here? Because it certainly did not sound like it based on everything that he said publicly.
Correct. And I was trying to find that cut, but unfortunately it was one word. So I can tell you what it was.
Yes.
And he was asked whether or not he had confidence in Tom Thibodeau, and he was like, come on, man. Really?
Is this a serious question?
It's a serious question. He dropped the mic and walked off, and that's how Game 6 press conference ended. Sean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely shocked, floored, where are you at right now?
6 probably. I didn't think there was a 0% chance of this. I know you mentioned Sam, and we're going to talk about this with him a little deeper. I think the connection standpoint certainly helped.
Had me believing that he was coming back.
I guess like I went 6, like more so than not. I did expect him to be back. I don't think this is as out of the blue. I don't think it's a great look from the Knicks perspective that how this all went down. We saw like minutes after they were eliminated from the playoffs. We're already seeing the hit pieces dropping on Cat on how some of the teammates do not like him. Now, a couple days later, that it is firing Tom Thibodeau, that they're going through a whole new coaching search here, that like this should be viewed as a wildly successful season from the Knicks perspective. They've been a loser organization for decades, and they are back in relevancy. They have made it back to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. They've been the best team that they've been in my entire lifetime, this Knicks team, and now they're kind of scrambling, it feels like. So I think there's a bit of an overreaction to try and like just rerun. I think they would have had, like, again, Thibodeau did great, man. I don't know what more you could ask from him based on all this. So you can nitpick stuff. I can't believe that it went down. So 6 is my answer, but I am shocked still.
All right, we're having a little bit of some camera issues. I don't know what the hell's going on, but Sean Barnard joining us right here, and it's great to have him in studio. He's got the blue Gatorade. Luke, let me see that blue Gatorade. Let me see.
Well, the 0 on
come on, you watch the camera, Sean. What are you doing?
Oh,
Jesus. Smooth operation. Yo,
oh,
what do you know about this?
Get that out of my face.
Why?
Gatorade Zero is the most disgusting thing on the face of the planet.
Oh, stop it.
That was a mistake on my
You
end.
can't tell the difference between Gatorade
Yes,
Zero
I
and
can.
regular
Yes,
Gatorade.
I can. Yes, I
Bull.
can. Sean,
Bull.
if you put the 2 in front of me and put $1 million on the line and blindfolded me, I would have that $1 million in 5 seconds.
We will do.
5
What
seconds.
flavor? You're going to tell me orange?
Blue.
You're going to tell the difference
Blue.
between orange?
Blue.
right,
It is clearly obvious when you drink a Zero compared to a regular.
All right, stay with me.
I side with Luke on that.
Luke, he's a golf course guy. He's always on the
Yeah,
golf
no,
course.
I'm a big Gatorade guy. That is the best flavor of Gatorade.
No, you're a big
Just-
social media guy too, as well. How about the cart girl? Do you know where I'm going with this?
The water hazards?
Water hazards.
Dude,
Yeah.
had one a few days ago. They're
Brand
pretty
new.
money. They're
I
pretty
never
money.
heard of it until she put out there. I'll
They're
tell
pretty
you what,
money.
cart girl content, pretty strong.
Oh, it's hot right now.
Yeah, but there's got to be an unwritten rule. Like, he can't be, dudes are just, but they tip well. They tip well on the golf
Yeah,
course.
well,
They're really
some of them.
extra
Most
creepy
of
on
them.
the golf course.
Most of them. That's
Yeah.
why if you've ever realized a lot of the cart girl content you see, you never see the guys in it.
Good call.
It's always just the phone set up in the cart and it's only them because
Gives me shivers down my
most of
spine.
the guys don't want to be in it because most of the guys are married with kids. That's
Yeah.
probably why.
It really just sends like some chills down the spine, some douche chills when you watch those videos.
the
And
worst.
just like, oh my God, is that guy really saying that?
I will
they-
say too, from working at a golf course, some stories that I hear from some of our cart girls are
Yeah,
a bit
come
on
man.
a bit on the absurd side, to say the least.
Don't be a pig on the golf course. Respect the cart girl. Cart girl. Anyways, daily ticket rolling on here, having
Make
some
sure you
fun.
tip her.
Sean Barnard, let's get you in on this one.
Hit me.
First call is Jay Wright.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it's
No,
gonna be-
no, not you think it will be. I want to know, is it the right call? First call, Jay Wright. Sean Barnard, is it the first call you're making?
Yes, it is. I don't think he's taking it. I think if he had any sort of itch, and who knows, maybe that is what motivated this move. Maybe if we want to really kind of dive into this, that I almost would think there would have been conversations beforehand with Jay Wright. Is this something that would ever interest you? And if there is any opportunity, as you guys mentioned, like if he's going to coach again, it's going to be this job. I don't really see that being the case. I think Jay Wright is pretty comfortable with his cushy TV job. Does an excellent job at it, by the way. And I think like that's the right call, but I don't think you're getting anywhere with that.
So where do the Knicks go from here? And let me follow up and ask you this. Is this the type of move that, because of the success that you've had, because of the relationship / partnership / whatever you want to say, the fact that Jalen Brunson's dad is on the coaching staff, like there was a lot that had to go into this decision. Now we know James Dolan's a maniac. I don't know if he is front and center on all of the decision making. It wouldn't surprise me if he is. He's the owner, but I thought like one of the reasons why the Knicks started having some success over the past few years, of course, was Thibs, but at the same time was this dude fell back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to ask Sam Oshtry, it's completely coincidental that Jalen Brunson's father's on the coaching staff, and that's where Jalen Brunson elected to go in free agency for less than market value, I might add there. So, I mean,
well, what do you mean by that? Because yeah, we know.
Yeah, I that was very strategically planned out that this was built for Jalen Brunson. It's not a coincidence, is my point. I think Sam does try and play it off like that, which I think is crazy there.
All right, we'll bring that one up at 4:00 because I agree with you.
Yeah, he's giving me a little bit of pushback on that one, which I think is crazy. This is the kind of the house that Jalen Brunson built. This is all defined around him. This is his show to run, which is why this is sort of surprising with me. Now, like with that being said, to give a little bit of like the opposite direction here, he's saying all these things publicly. Who knows what he's saying behind closed doors? And again, I do think Thibs is a coach that wears on players there. But to bring in other names here, I think Taylor Jenkins jumps my head even above Michael Malone there. I don't think Michael Malone is like the most gifted head coach on the planet. I don't think Jalen Brunson is Nikola Jokic when talking about creating an offense there. And like Malone is a little bit more of the product of his players than him as a coach. But Thibs is a ceiling or a floor racing coach. That's what he's going to do. He's going to build an organization into being relevant, having success, being in the mix. I do think there's a fair argument that he's not the guy to give them over the top. Taylor Jenkins would be my hire if I'm the New York Knicks right now.
Jenkins is definitely getting a phone call.
Yeah.
It's one of these deals where it's like, look, if you are going to move off of Thibodeau, you better have a name ready to go. And it doesn't strike me like that's the case here. I don't believe Michael Malone has done enough. I get it. He's got the championship. But, Sean, come on, man. We're talking about a team that took the Oklahoma City Thunder, probably the future champions, to 7 games. How good were the Denver Nuggets this year? And this guy got fired with 3 games left.
Yeah.
Like, that's a disaster of a decision by the Denver Nuggets front office. But they said, you know what? We don't need him. And he won a championship. I get it. But he's got some stench on him right now that I don't know if I'm in love with Michael Malone. Jenkins is a guy that has won, and he's done very well. And he uses that bench down in Memphis, or used the bench. And it's surprising to look at the numbers that he had when he got fired. Really is, to be a reminder. It's one of those names that I haven't talked about a little bit. But yeah.
The name that keeps popping up for me is Johnny Bryant, by the way. Assistant coach would be his first head coaching gig on the assistant coaching staff there. I don't know that much about him, but I've seen a lot of that pop up.
I will say too, and I know it's only been 45 minutes, but if it truly was Jay Wright, I know it's been 45 minutes, but I feel like you would have already started to hear stuff about it. Like that, a Jay Wright move to me doesn't feel like a Jay Wright move that will happen in 2 to 3 months. Like if it's truly Jay Wright, then they knew all along that next season Jay Wright was going to be their coach, whether no matter what happened. And it feels like to me, if Jay Wright was their number one guy, you would have heard Tom Thibodeau has been fired. Jay Wright is the leading candidate. That's True. Almost what it feels like to me. And that's why I'm leaning towards it not being him. And once again, like we said, if he's going to come out of retirement to coach, it would have been this one. But I don't think he's going.
You gotta put yourself in the Jay Wright camp. Again, full disclosure, I give 20% because that's what my source said. 20%. That deals with Jay, that has dealt with Jay in the past, that knows Jay, knows what the hell he's talking about. I made one phone call and that was it. 20%, I'll stick with it. If you want to say under, you want to go over it, I have no issues with that. Beef said 15%. I think he's just having fun with me. I don't know if you want to put a number on Jay Wright being the New York Knicks head coach, Sean.
5.
Okay, that's fine. But 4, Luke. It's great. 4%. Good.
There you go.
Price is Right style here. All right.
Come on.
I would just say that for Jay Wright, and it's not dealing with him. Like the front office and Dolan weren't dealing with Jay Wright. They're dealing with his agent. And those are the conversations. And maybe Jay Wright said, hey, if you make that decision, then come calling. But until you do, you got a head coach. Thibs is your guy. I just think that it's not so much a slam dunk in that manner. If to your point, Luke, I understand why you're saying that, but I feel like maybe we're a little too deep in it on that one. I don't know. One man's take. That's all. What do we got? Ryan Beef Coyle, Columbia grad, NCAA champ Todd Golden might get a call. All right, and also he did say Uncle Rick Brunson.
Yeah, and this applies to both these guys. They do have college girls up in New York.
They do have what?
College girls up in New York.
Oh, jeez. Man.
Ryan Beef Coyle, the next coach of the New York Knicks.
I got one for you. Goodbye. There you go. Got that one. That one's added. We got some activity out here. What's going on out here?
And Brace leaves. I can narrate. He's looking through the window right now.
Tom Thibodeau. I mean, listen, this is great radio.
Yes,
right
Thibodeau. Is Jay Wright in the studio here?
No, it's Buster.
Jay Wright's opening press conference live on the Daily Ticket.
He had some, Buster got some, people out there. And
Buster's always got something going on.
He's always got something going. Exactly that. All right, breaking news once again. New York Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau out after 5 seasons, made the playoffs 4 out of the 5, back-to-back 50-plus wins, made the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. And guess what? James Dolan and the New York Knicks said to Tom Thibodeau, goodbye. Thank you. Luca,
you want 2 more names that I can throw in the mix?
Sure. What do you got?
Sam Cassell. It's insane that he hasn't gotten a head coaching opportunity. I love Sam Cassell. I do think he'd be excellent, and I do hope he doesn't go to the New York Knicks for that specific reason there.
You know who Sam Cassell has a vibe of?
Who?
What's his Eric Bieniemy?
No, he's way better.
I'm with you, and I love Sam Cassell, and he was with the Sixers. You know who else was with the Sixers that had a huge praise, a great following?
Monty Williams.
Lloyd
Pierce.
Thank you.
He'll get a head coach.
And he should.
Yeah.
He was getting shouted out by LeBron a few seasons ago. I thought he should have gotten an opportunity. Same thing. I'm with you. Sam Cassell, hell of a player, a very vocal. I am a big and has been around with some major teams.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Was he with the Celtics?
He was. Yeah, Celtics this year.
Oh, he's with the Celtics now. Who was he with last year?
He's bounced around. I got to fact check.
I thought he was with the Celtics for the championship last year.
Yeah, he's been on Doc's staff for a while now, so he kind of bounced around with him, but he was on the Celtics this year. The other guy I was going to throw in the mix, Jeff Van Gundy. Any thoughts on Jeff Van Gundy?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not? He was excellent this year. The Clippers' defensive turnaround is basically solely given to Jeff Van Gundy. I don't think he would have stepped back on the coaching game if he didn't have a little bit of that itch to take another job again.
He goes back. What was it? Yeah, those are the heydays.
Hey,
it's an interesting name, Sean Barnard. An interesting name. I don't know. I just say no because we've been there and done that, and I want something new. But you're right. Still coaching.
Yeah, he was excellent this year. The Clippers, like you listen to any one of them talk, is he gets like sole credit for their defensive turnaround, and that's been a team who hasn't had a defensive identity really ever when looking at the Clippers, and they were excellent this year with a team with James Harden on it.
And he was with the Knicks for 7 seasons from 1990, or no, excuse me, he was even longer because he was an assistant coach before then. But he took the head coaching gig in 95. All the way up until 2001, 2002, and was fired probably about halfway through that season. Yeah, interesting name. Definitely an interesting name. Lloyd Pierce, the coach of the Hawks already. Did he get the head coaching job down there? I thought he did. Yeah.
3 seasons he did, yes.
Okay, all right.
He's currently assistant coach of the Indiana Pacers.
You go to the Hawks to lose. Is he on the Pacers?
Correct, yeah.
How about that?
Can't hurt the PR.
No, definitely not. All right, we will talk a lot about the NBA Finals. We got to take quick time out. Luke Arcaini's here as well. We got to go north of the border, boys.
Come on.
We're heading up. Anybody ever been to Canada out of you two? You ever been to Canada?
No.
I have not either.
No,
I've never been. I want to go. I'm actually pulling for Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Finals too.
Should be.
Yeah, I want to see Edmonton.
Everybody should be. Unless you're a Florida Panthers fan, you should be rooting for the Oilers.
What about just from the state of Florida? The fact that 6 straight years somebody from the state has been playing in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, shouldn't you be? No, if you're
nothing says hockey like Florida.
Yeah, it's absurd.
There you go.
Think the Flyers will do something eventually. All right, Daily Ticket. Sean Barnard is here. Luke Arcaini's hanging out. Luke, we got Sam Oshtry joining the party at 4:05. Other side, we're hitting some baseball. We'll talk about the Blue Jays series. Talk about what's going to be different this time around versus what the hell just took place at Citizens Bank Park against the Brew Crew, where they looked like a disaster. Oh, by the way, the Phillies now losers of 4 straight. Got to find a way to win a game. So I want to go with some north of the border bets on the other side. Luke Arcaini is going to steer us in the right direction. More Daily Ticket after this.
This September, our iHeartRadio Music Festival,
presented by Capital One, is coming back to Las Vegas.
And you can win your way to be there.
Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets go on sale June 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Music through AXS.com. But starting June 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders get first access to tickets and other exclusive offers for 48 hours only, or while pre-sale tickets last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet? Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
We're down the Schuylkill westbound Bear to the Vine Expressway and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound heavy Montgomery Drive to South. Vine Expressway busy both ways. Schuylkill to Broad. 95 northbound, so Betsy Roster Bridge. And then Cottman to Academy from earlier road work. To tell total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Bobby Bones here with some easy trivia. What does the Staples easy button say? That was easy. Oh, I mean, that was easy. You knew that, right? And now you know to press it for prints, shipping, and even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. I see you, Staples. That was easy.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again. Because more people are listening to the radio on iHeart today than they were 20 years ago. And only iHeart Broadcast Radio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, social, any other media. Even twice as many teens than TikTok. And that reach means everything. Just think about the universal marketing formula. The number of consumers who hear your message times the response rate equals the results. Now let's get those results growing for your business. Radio's here now more than ever, and iHeart's leading the way. Think radio can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, podcasting, and radio, where the reach is real. Let us show you at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time, just call 844-844-iHeart and get radio working for you.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's hear this tiger purr, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
iHeartRadio just gave driving an upgrade with Presets, now on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Your go-to stations, podcasts, and playlists, all just a tap away on your dash. Start your engine, hit play, and drive happy. Free with iHeartRadio on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
May I have your attention, please?
You're listening to The Daily Ticket with Sean Brace, Philly's first daily sports gambling show.
Let us see the down!
On Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. The action starts here.
Yes, indeed. Daily Ticket, Sean Brace, Sean Barnard, and Luke Arcaini with you here. Sam Oshtry is going to join the party, our resident Knicks fan, so I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about this firing. He was very adamant that it was not going to happen. Need to pull that sound up. And he is shocked, so I can't wait to hear his thoughts on all things Knicks. Firing Tom Thibodeau after 5 seasons, 4 out of 5 made the playoffs, back-to-back 50-plus wins in the regular season. And, oh, by the way, just had the most successful season in franchise history, with the franchise in the last 25 years, making the Eastern Conference Finals. Not good enough. All right, we will stay with the Knicks conversation, and we'll let you know if Jay Wright gets that phone call or not. But of course, Luke Arcaini does a great job covering all things Phillies for Crossing Broad, and of course covers the Phillies for us here on The Gambler as well, all things Major League Baseball. I want to fire up DraftKings Sportsbook, Luke, and take a look at some of the numbers that matter the most for tonight's game between the Blue Jays and the Phillies, as we need them to find a victory up north of the border. But before we do that, allow me to just ask this question, because they're for real.
And the 0-1 is clock high in the sky and deep to right. Hernandez is back. This one is long gone. Into the pavilion. A leadoff home run for Francisco Lindor, who rocked it over the weekend against Colorado. His 14th home run of the year.
All right, it pains me. It should pain everybody, but we have to be realistic with this conversation. And no more am I saying that this team is just a little bit of a flash in the pan, and maybe I shouldn't have been saying it in the first place. I wasn't, but I know there's a lot of people that did have that opinion. I was more under the impression that, hey, look, as the season goes on, I think we're going to see one team separate themselves from the other, and I thought specifically the Phillies would be that team. Still might happen, as it's only June 3rd. But, man, the Mets have that look. They have that vibe. Lindor leads off the game against the Dodgers. They just took 2 or 3 against L.A. in Citi Field last week. This is a team that has played some pretty good competition. I think they were 19-10 against teams with over a 500 record. Lindor is a serious, realistic MVP candidate. Yes. And they go out to L.A. in a game that I didn't think they had a chance of hell of winning and take game 1. It's a 4-game series. Luke, I have to ask you your thoughts on the Mets right now at 38-22, top of the division. No one's asking for an NL East conversation as far as winning it now, but when you want to take a bigger approach on this Mets team, this roster, this pitching staff, what are you saying right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, we need to pump the brakes on the Francisco Lindor MVP conversation thing. It's just not going to happen. There's probably about 5 guys in the National League that would win it right now before Lindor.
It's June 3rd.
Okay. So, all right. So we can't say the Mets have that look. It's June 3rd. The Phillies
wait. You take Shohei Ohtani out the conversation. Who's having a better season right now in the NL?
Kyle Tucker.
Do you want 3 names or 4 names? Because I'll give you Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Corbin Carroll.
Nobody knows who Pete Crow Armstrong is.
Well, you darn right should, because the kid is nasty. He's good. He's good. Right. You know, the Mets have the look on June 3rd, but the Phillies had the look on June 3rd last year, but we have to wait until the playoffs.
Schwarber, but nobody's going to do that. Schwarber versus Francisco Lindor right now, MVP. Who you got?
I mean, if you're looking at stats, the answer's Schwarber. Like, his OPS is 100 points higher. He has 7 more home runs. He has more RBIs. Like, let's pump the brakes back a little bit, people. Please, the guy's got an 850 OPS.
My Lord.
Come on, man. Oh,
all right, it was me. I'm stirring it up a little bit. I'm stirring it up.
Well, I do have good news after you're stirring it up. Bryce Harper's actually in the lineup tonight. He is back. As we expected. Seems like he was feeling better. We do have a lineup tonight. Stott leading off, Turner at short, Harper and back in the 3-hole. Schwarber hitting cleanup, Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, Max Kepler, JT Realmuto, and Brandon Marsh in center with Christopher Sanchez on the mound. So Bryce back. The lineup looks normal again. So a nice little chance for the Phillies to get back in the win column tonight.
Will they?
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think Bowden Francis is really that good.
Why are they winning against Bowden Francis?
Bowden Francis has allowed 15 home runs this year so far. The guy's getting...
Who the hell names their kid Bowden?
Bowden? Yeah, I don't know. That was his first issue. But yeah, they're... He hasn't been having that great of a year.
No.
The Phillies actually tend to play fairly well-ish over the last, so many years in Toronto. Obviously, I think we all remember the Schwarber 3 home run game there last year. He's a guy that I do like tonight. He has a home run off of Francis in the past, as well as Harper. But no, it's a good spot for the Phillies to get back in the win column tonight. The lineup's all back. Everything's normal again. So, yeah, a nice little 3-game set here. This is really, honestly, a nice little 6-game stretch here for the Phillies. They have 3 against Toronto and then 3 against the Pirates in Pittsburgh this coming weekend. They avoid Skeens in Pittsburgh. So a nice little weekend or a week for them to get sort of rack up some wins here before they play a team that has 2 MVP candidates over Francisco Lindor in the Chicago Cubs.
All right. Well, I look at this team today, and I would like to see them find a way to win a game up there in Toronto. North of the border bets coming your way here. Give us a play or two that we need to be firing as far as on the same game parlay slip.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to look at Schwarber. I mean, I'm riding the hot hand. You can kind of take whatever you want with that guy at this point. He had a really good month of May. He hit 288, 644 slugging with a 1047 OPS in May. He's hitting 348 over the last 7 days, 298 over the last 15. The guy's he's on a tear. The first, month and a half to 2 months of the season. I'm going to continue to ride Kyle Schwarber on the books.
Does the hot start to the season for Schwarber worry you that we might not get the June Schwarber that we've kind of come to expect?
No, I think because tonight you finally get the first look at June Schwarber. I'm going to take him to go yard. This doesn't seem like a hot start, slow ending kind of thing. I don't really think Schwarber is that kind of guy in the first place. I think he's just really good. He doesn't really strike me as a guy that, gets hot early and then just like freezes the rest of the year. I think we saw it last year a little bit with Bohm. But yeah, no, he's the guy. If you're going to look into props, he's the guy you have to continue to ride because he's going to give you your best chance, even though, the odds are never too fond for him, especially in the home run market. I have to check what he is tonight. It's rarely over a plus 300 for him to hit a home run. So tonight, Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run is plus 235 against Bowden Francis. Bryce Harper's plus 295.
Okay.
And for some odd reason, JT Realmuto is the next in odds there. So, yeah, I mean, I would continue to look at Schwarber. I think Harper as well. Seemed like he was honestly probably could have played Sunday if they were like truly, really desperate. But there was no reason to really throw him back in there. So I would just ride the big guns tonight.
Before you get out of here, our question of the day, since the Phillies had to head north, they had to stop by customs at the border. Luke Arcaini, Sean Barnard, named the Phillies player that would be stopped by the Mounties, the border patrol up there.
Jordan
Romano. Why?
Jordan Romano. Just look at the guy. I don't have to say it. I don't have to say it.
Good God, dude.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Fun with this.
No, honestly, I think Nick Castellanos.
Just look at it. Look at the last name.
Just feels like a guy that would be the one that's randomly stopped. And then I think he would have some fun with the guys up there and make it. Really quick on the Toronto thing. Did you guys see Johan Rojas was flying a helicopter yesterday?
I did see that.
In Toronto.
Was flying it?
Yes, he was. There was one point of his Instagram live that they were up there like with like a professional, obviously. It was Marsh, Rojas, and Castellanos. They did a helicopter ride over Niagara Falls yesterday.
Oh,
and at one point, Rojas was actually in the driver's seat of the helicopter. So it seems like they enjoyed their off day yesterday. I know a few of the guys, they got the chance to go to Niagara Falls yesterday. I think I saw Edmundo Sosa was there yesterday as well. But it seems like the boys enjoyed their off day yesterday.
Yeah, there's a lot to do up there north of the border.
Oh,
everything's a little bit better when it comes to alcohol. They do triple X. They do triple.
Wow.
Yeah, they go look at the alcohol content or whatever the terminology is, the ABC levels for their beer. Molson, triple X, Labatt's, triple X. Yeah, they go hard north of the border. And oh, by the way, and I've never been, but apparently the strip clubs are pretty good too as well. But
hey, no.
To each their own. They're pretty good all over the globe. Anyways.
You guys brushed over the answer to this, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on. Back to the question.
Yeah.
Name the Philly player that got stopped at the border by customs and the reason why. Go, Sean Barnard.
The answer is Brandon Marsh, and the wet hair that is the signal there. That I think that's an automatic. We need to look into that.
So you guys are just saying like, oh, these guys are hippies, and like, man, we got to stop them because we know they're bringing some of that contraband up here, and we don't want that.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's JT Realmuto because he was somewhere on January 6th, and they haven't been able to.
There it is.
He did have some.
Lord.
If my memory serves correctly, he did have some problems crossing that border a couple years ago.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, a few of them did. A few of them did for a bit of a reason.
Trying to interject a little humor here, and that's
a few of the guys.
Next thing you know, we are getting. Anyways, we'll keep it moving. Daily Ticket, Sean Barnard with us.
Tom Thibodeau gets fired.
Unbelievable. And once again, as we do here on The Gambler, thanks but no thanks, James Dolan to Tom Thibodeau.
Goodbye.
Luke Arcaini, fantastic stuff. Continue reading at Crossing Broad. Good luck on all those plays, and we will catch up tomorrow, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys.
My man, there he is, Luke Arcaini on the Gambler stream. All right, Sean Barnard is with me in studio and will be for the rest of the show. Sam Oshtry is going to join the program. Sean and I and Sam, Sean, and I are going to, there's a new F1 bar. Now, did you know about this place, Sean Barnard?
I heard a little bit about it. Mostly from you. I heard a little bit of buzz elsewhere as well. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest F1 guy in the world by any means, but yeah, excited to take it in.
All right, so and the great Natalie Eganoff's going to be there as well from Team iHeart. I saw her there like a week ago. She was there before anybody.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Now, this F1 arcade, it's an F1 arcade. And I thought it was the bankroll. It's not. It's nowhere near that. Yeah, I'm an idiot. It's up the road. It's actually by Lucky Strike.
Okay.
So I looked at the experience, like this place looks awesome. Now, I am not an F1 guy, but here's what I will tell you. I am a race fan when it comes to arcade games.
Sure.
Oh man, Daytona. I used to skip school. Me and my boy Clem, we would go to the Viewmont Mall up in Scranton. We'd skip school and we would just have $20 in quarters and literally just play Daytona up in the arcade. And the arcade had like 7 games, and we would be up there for like 2 hours killing time. I love Daytona. I'll go to these barcades. If they have Daytona, I play it. But more times than not, if they have a good racing game, I'll play it. I'll give it a shot. You go to Dave & Buster's, they got some good ones. They got a motorcycle game. So like, I'm a fan of racing games. And here's the cool thing, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
You go to f1arcade.com, check out what Philly has to offer, the racing experience. They got racing modes. Like me and you could go head to head, and Sam, we could all compete.
Okay.
Head to head to head. I think it's almost like a again, different sport, but like, you know how Top Golf, you got your own bay and you could compete,
Sure.
I think that's kind of like what this is as well.
Okay. Very cool.
We're moving in that direction. I think there's a baseball bar that's being built too
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Did see that a little bit. And as much as like, I do want to put it out on the table, Mario Kart's still the A1 racing game, correct?
I was never good at Mario Kart,
Ooh,
but I played. I loved it.
Okay.
Rainbow Road all day, every day.
It's a tough one.
But yeah, man, I just was not good at Mario Kart. My daughter right now, she's a gamer. 5 years old. Daddy, could you turn on the PlayStation? Sure. For one game, Paw Patrol.
Really?
And they race. It's just a Paw Patrol race. And it's like, and she's like, could you turn off Mayor Humdinger? He always gets me. It's great. All right. We got a lot to discuss here. Sam Oshtry's going to join the party. Look, Sam is Mr. Nick.
Yeah.
And like, he's got to be floored. I don't know about gutted, but floored that the Knicks have moved on from Tom Thibodeau. We'll find out where he stands as far as Jay Wright, if he is the first, second, or third call. Who else is getting a phone call in Sam Oshtry's Rolodex? All that and more. Tom Thibodeau out as the New York Knicks head coach. We'll discuss that with Sam Oshtry from The Score on the other side. More after this.
The NBA playoffs are here, and nobody has you covered like the Gambler Gang. We don't just watch the playoffs. We bet the hell out of them.
Oh, my God.
Hey guys, Father's Day is right around the corner. When is the last time you got your dad something really cool for Father's Day? We're not talking about another boring tie, hedge trimmer, or hardware store gift card. We're talking about scratching one off Pop's bucket list, something he'll remember forever. This Father's Day, put your dad behind the wheel of a heart-pounding 160-mile-per-hour stock car in the 2.5-mile super speedway at Pocono Raceway.
That's right. The staff at Stock Car Racing Experience will suit him up, teach him what he needs to know, and put him behind the wheel of a NASCAR-style stock car on the Super Speedway at Pocono Raceway. Don't miss this opportunity to do something awesome with your dad. Dial 1-877-STOCK-CAR or go online at 877stockcar.com and get your gift voucher instantly by email. Or call 877-STOCK-CAR and order one today.
Don't bore Dad this Father's Day. Blow his mind with a ride or drive in a 160-mile-per-hour stock car. Go online at 877stockcar.com or call 1-877-STOCK-CAR.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business. Jennifer Lawson, President and CEO of Keep America Beautiful.
We believe that everyone deserves to live in a clean, healthy, and beautiful community. And for us, that means engaging people in opportunities to help clean up their community, to make decisions about how and where work needs to be done in their community, to improve recycling rates, to improve education around the importance of not littering. And then the whole green side of the equation, which for us is about tree planting and flowers and the power of beauty to improve health, drive action, and really help people get inspired and to love where they live.
And how do you do that?
Through a network of 750 affiliates across the country. We help communities manage litter in their towns. We organize volunteers for litter cleanups. We host recycling events. We provide recycling education, litter education, and then we help plant trees and flowers in parks and oftentimes in private streets and areas responding to disasters. You can learn more about Keep America Beautiful at www.kab.org, and you can find all our social channels there. We're across all the normal platforms, and we welcome your engagement.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's. Save $100 on the Craftsman V20 Max 6 Tool Power Tool Combo Kit, now $199. Head to your nearest Lowe's store for big savings on tools today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is 11-year NBA veteran Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Thrivent.
Phillies first baseman Bryce Harper is expected to be back for tonight's game in Toronto after missing the past week with a sore elbow. Phillies lost 4 in a row. To football, where Eagles first-round linebacker Jahad Campbell won't be cleared to practice until August as he continues to recover from shoulder surgery. And Novak Djokovic is just the third man to win 100 matches at a Grand Slam event after he won his 4th-round match at the French Open. I'm Scott Davidson.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Good afternoon. Tuesday drive home. We're busy on 42 southbound. Delays begin midspan of the Walt Whitman and then continue all the way down to Blackwood Clementon Road. It's all volume. Watch for a closure in Washington Township, 42 southbound at Stagecoach Road due to a down utility pole. Schuylkill Janet westbound approaching University to Vine and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound, so Blue Route to Belmont and Janet approaching Montgomery Drive to South. 95 northbound back to Allegheny to Bridge and Cotman to Academy. Southbound, so Cotman to Bridge. All right, to tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Bobby Bones here with some easy trivia. What does the Staples easy button say? That was easy. Oh, I mean, that was easy. You knew that, right? And now you know to press it for prints, shipping, and even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. I see you, Staples. That was easy.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Do you disregard people's personal space? Sitting next to people in public, even if there are tons of open seats? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale and get a queen mattress and adjustable base for just $499.99. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. You're listening to The Daily Ticket with Sean Brace. On Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. The action starts here.
Yes, it does. 4 o'clock hour daily ticket with you here. And Sean Barnard, the weather is warming up outside, man. You know what time it is? It's Rita's time. Stop by a Rita's near you. Check them out online, ritasIce.com. Make sure you sign up for the membership. You get all the rewards. Right now, they got the Skittles. I'll call it Skittles, John. Oh, so good. So good. I think it's called Sharkleberry, I want to say. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be your Sharkleberry. And it's red. It's so good, man. And, that's the best part about Rita's for me is I only need the small guy. Just boom. Are you an ice? See, Sam is a water ice guy. He is a Rita's guy. Are you an ice cream guy, or do you prefer the water ice?
I've been a big Misto guy from Rita specifically here, but I'll do it all. In general, I'm a water ice guy, but I do like to mix it.
You're going to a deserted island. You could take one with you. What do you take?
Mango water ice.
There it is.
Yeah.
Mango. That's a strong flavor right there. Very popular. Sam Oshtry, that Knicks job is going to be pretty popular, sir. How we doing today?
It sure is. I'm doing good. It's never a dull day in the NBA. How are you fellas? No,
it's not. Now you know where we're starting because you had me believing like this has now been brought up between the three of us, and we're not the only ones. We understand that, but this has been talked about probably dating back 6 weeks ago, and maybe 5, but I'll say 6 weeks. And when I originally brought it up, what you said to me stuck with me. And I go, he's probably right. And oh, by the way, everything on the back of the baseball card for the freaking head coach. Just had an unbelievable run. Made the Eastern Conference Finals first time in 25 years. Back-to-back 50-plus win seasons. 4 out of 5 times he coached the Knicks to the playoffs. You'd think that would mean something after results said and done. Nope. Not so fast. See ya. Thibs is out as the head coach of the New York Knicks. And you laid the framework. You laid the groundwork that, look, there's more to the story than just firing him and bringing some new coach in, because you got to think about the logistics when it comes to Jalen Brunson on the team. His dad is on the coaching staff. Leon Rose. You can go into a little bit of that partnership, that friendship. I don't know if it exists anymore. But, I mean, from a scale of on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely floored. Sean's a 6. I'm probably 6.5, 7. Where are you at right now?
I'm like a 9 or a 10. Look, you can never be surprised in the NBA these days because after this season with the craziness, what we saw with, forgot the player trades with Luka, but the coaching firings where Taylor Jenkins and Mike Malone are out with just a few weeks to go in the regular season, you can never be surprised by anything in the NBA anymore. But the reason I thought this was different and the reason I told you this is not happening weeks ago, and I would be shocked if it did, and now I'm sitting here shocked talking to you guys, was because this organization is different. And the relationship between Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau is different than, or was different than most presidents and coaches' relationships.
Why? How so?
Because they're actually friends. And that's why Leon Rose hired Thibs way back when. Those guys, I can tell you for legitimate fact, they are friends. That they are like more than just friendly guys who just do working relationships. Those guys are friends. I think they would have considered each other friends. And I don't know if they still do. But that's why I always thought that the dynamics were different, where things would have to get so dire. And it doesn't mean Leon Rose would ever be above firing Tom Thibodeau, but things would have to get so dire with that organization. They would have had to have a first-round exit to the Pistons for Leon Rose to actually let him go. But that didn't happen at all. That didn't happen at all. Not only did things not get dire, there were 3 people responsible for the Knicks turnaround. And let's go back and realize what franchise we're talking about. We're talking about the New York Knicks. The New York Knickerbockers is what we're talking about right now. A franchise that since Jim Dolan acquired the team in 1999 has been a complete joke and a complete laughingstock of the entire NBA. There are 3 people responsible for the turnaround over the last 5 years. That's A, Leon Rose, who's done a phenomenal job turning this team around. B, Jalen Brunson, who's obviously a superstar and the king of New York and the captain of the Knicks. And 3, Tom Thibodeau, who has done a great job building a winning culture within an organization that has had a losing culture for decades and really the entirety of Jim Dolan's ownership. They've been a losing franchise and a losing culture. And 3 guys are responsible for that turnaround. And now one of them is gone. Not after he had a poor season, not after the Knicks descended in any way or even plateaued in any way. Every single year since Jalen Brunson has been there, every single year since Tom Thibodeau has been there, when they actually got Jalen Brunson, they've ascended. And they just made the first conference finals in 25 years. And what's Tom Thibodeau's reward for that? Out the door. See you later. Sayonara. It's a unfathomable decision. And then you factor in the Jalen Brunson situation. And the Jalen Brunson situation is Rick Brunson is Jalen Brunson's dad, who's on that staff. Jalen Brunson just turned down $113 million for this organization, this franchise. He sacrificed that type of money to help them build a winning team. This organization just slapped him in the face because they didn't just fire Tom Thibodeau, they fired his staff. And that includes his dad, Rick Brunson. And you could say theoretically, sure, Rick Brunson can just latch onto the next staff. He'll be a coach on the next staff. And maybe that's true. I don't know. That
Sure.
could be true. But Tom Thibodeau didn't just hire Rick Brunson because he was Jalen's dad. They have a relationship going back years. Rick Brunson was a player for the Knicks when Tom Thibodeau was an assistant coach for the Knicks in the 90s. Rick Brunson was assistant coach under Tom Thibodeau for the Bulls and the Wolves. This relationship goes back years. So yeah, maybe the next coach will also hire Rick Brunson. It probably won't be the same role if he does, but this is a firing of Tom Thibodeau and Jalen Brunson's dad, a guy who fully supported Tom Thibodeau and just sacrificed $113 million for your organization.
Wow.
Well done, Sam.
Well said. My only follow-up would be Joel Embiid and Paul George for Jalen Brunson. Would that work? Does that work in the
Knicks would never
world?
The Knicks would never do that.
I kid. Well, okay. What does it mean for Jalen Brunson then? If he's getting slapped in the face, what does it mean? If you had to guess right now? Again, it's very, very fresh. It just happened literally about an hour ago. What does it mean for Jalen Brunson right now as we're sitting here?
I mean, it doesn't mean much. It's not like Jalen Brunson is asking out. Like, he loves New York. Leon Rose is still the president, and Leon Rose is his godfather, and he's still the king of New York. So it doesn't really mean much, other than he's probably pissed. Like, I don't know exactly, but I would imagine he's probably pissed because now his dad's certain his own future on that staff. He obviously liked Tom Thibodeau, and what it really means for not just Jalen Brunson, for the Knicks as a whole, is why I don't buy this spin now that this was a Leon Rose decision for everything I just laid out. Because of the dynamics between him and Tom Thibodeau, because of the dynamics between Jalen Brunson and his dad and his relationship with Tom Thibodeau, I believe this was Jim Dolan meddling with basketball decisions. And the reason why the Knicks have been so good and able to turn around the last few years is because Jim Dolan hasn't meddled with basketball decisions. He's left it all up to Leon Rose and Worldwide West and their entire staff, and they've done a great job because they're brilliant executives. If James Dolan, Jim Dolan, whatever you want to call him, is back to meddling in basketball decisions, that's a problem for New York. And that's what this signals to me, because even 2 days ago, The Athletic reported that Leon Rose fully backed bring back Tom Thibodeau, but his status was uncertain because of ownership, and they weren't sure what ownership. The Athletic reported that 2 days ago, and that's what I've been saying for weeks now because of the relationship. So now this, to me, is telling me that ownership is meddling, and I don't care about the spin the Knicks want to put on now when it was all Leon Rose's decision. To me, this is saying that ownership is now meddling with basketball decisions.
Yeah, and look, and Sean, I would just say, so somebody gets Dolan's ear. Now, Dolan's a diehard. He's at every game. He loves to be the focal point. He still sits front row, whatever. And, of course, like you said, Sam, that was my understanding, was like, man, one of the reasons why things started turning around for the Knicks in these past couple seasons, of course, it's Brunson. It starts and ends there. But, oh, by the way, he's fallen off and no longer a mainstay in the decision-making. That's how I understood it. Now, he's the owner. And the end of the season, they fall short. If they get to the finals, Thibs is probably still the guy, but they lost. And there is a lot of voices right now saying that this is the type of coach that will get you to where he could, but probably is not going to get over the hump. So therefore, you need to go out there and get somebody that has that championship mentality, somebody that can take what has been built in these last 5 seasons, something of significance, and take them that next step. And I'm sure Dolan was probably going, you know what? Yeah. And, oh, by the way he plays these players with because that's alarming.
Which, by the way, they had the best health luck they could possibly ask for in this playoff
That's
run.
alarming. When you start throwing those numbers about the combined minutes together from the starters versus the Pacers versus these other teams, and I know they beat the Celtics and they deserve a ton of credit, but then it takes a lot for you to get to the NBA Finals, and maybe Dolan was saying that it's probably going to be a little bit too much to overcome. I don't know.
But part of it is that there were legitimate gripes with Tom Thibodeau. That's true. He was unimaginative offensively. Like how he utilized Mikal Bridges this year, really towards the second half of the season, their offense really got way worse when it should have gotten better with the addition of Karl-Anthony Towns, and it got way worse in the second half of the year compared to the first half. And part of that is because the Cat and Brunson pick and roll wasn't nearly as effective. They started going away from it. Like I said, he's unimaginative offensively. So there were legitimate gripes with Tom Thibodeau, but all the normal complaints and criticisms of him, he kind of answered. Like, he plays his guys too much. You could say it's luck this year, but every main player was healthy at the end of a conference finals run. Everyone was healthy. You could say he never adapts. That's what people say. He doesn't adapt. In the Celtics series, he completely shifted his ideology, where the Knicks never switched anything defensively, ever. Against the Celtics, they started switching everything, and part of that was to limit the Celtics threes and make them play more one-on-one, and it worked. It worked pretty well because obviously the Knicks won that series. Another thing, he doesn't use his bench enough. That could be true too, but let's be honest, that was more of a roster issue to me this season than it was a coaching issue, because Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright had great productive shifts in the playoffs, and he didn't go to them earlier. When those guys went in for the first time in that lineup, I was like, what is this lineup? Those aren't legitimate bench players that you want in a playoff rotation. So I thought this team just didn't have a lot of bench to play. And so when Thibs keeps the starters in when they're up by 25 with 3 minutes to go, do I yell at the TV too? And does every single NBA fan yell at the TV? What are you doing, Tom Thibodeau? Of course. But that's just who he is. He also helped build this culture around.
Yeah, I think you're right on a lot of this, Sam. And I love, that was excellent the way you portrayed all this. The point that I really want to circle back to, you mentioned that the Athletic report. The more telling part of that story to me was sort of the direct digs on Karl-Anthony Towns specifically here. Now, my sort of feeling and what I think is the correct move from a Knicks perspective is you got to move on from Karl-Anthony Towns. And I don't think you can win a championship or go farther than was the case than they did this season with Cat as the problem here. I don't care if it's Phil Jackson. I don't care if it's Jay Wright, if it's Tom Thibodeau, whoever it is, that with Karl-Anthony Towns as a staple of your team, there are holes that are impossible to fill there. But with that being said, that seems like the opposite direction of what they're going. I think if the true intentions were to move on from Cat, that you're running it back with Thibodeau, who's just had all the success here. Do you think that was sort of the decision-making behind the scenes? Is it's either a coach or a roster change, or do you think that could still be on the table?
I think it could still be on the table, but really the only avenue for improvement is a Giannis trade. and how much you
Durant.
essentially have to give up, which would be like a Cat and maybe a Mikal Bridges in a three-way deal, which would be really complicated. Like otherwise, where are you shipping Cat to where your roster is really going to improve? And you're way more critical of Cat than me, and I'm critical of him too, but you really are critical of him. And I still think you can win with Cat. He has obvious limitations defensively. If he's in the right system and the right team, you can still be a great defense. You saw that with Minnesota. That was a great defense with Cat. Yes, it's a problem if him and Jalen Brunson are on the floor together defensively because they're both liabilities defensively. But the bigger problem to me was those guys didn't make each other better offensively. Like over the last couple months of the season, really throughout the playoff run, Jalen Brunson was phenomenal most of the playoff run, and Cat had some great moments, and I thought he was really good as a scorer against the Pacers, but they weren't complimenting each other well at all. It was take your turn, my turn type of stuff. So I want to see them compliment each other more. And so I think that's part of the prognosis with Tom Thibodeau, where it's like he wasn't improving this offense in a way that he should have. So yes, I think you're right that this probably means that Cat's going to stick around, but I also thought he was always going to stick around just because there's no real avenue for improvement other than some Giannis trade, which is probably really difficult to facilitate.
Giannis is the one. Giannis is the end all be all, whatever picks you want for the most part for all these teams. I would say San Antonio is probably in that conversation that maybe they might want to.
Houston, Orlando.
Well, no, I mean from the standpoint of like not doing the deal, not giving everything up. Yeah. I think San Antonio is doing all right now. Sure. And I get it. It would make sense, but it's going to be a tall ask to get Giannis. But
they should do it, man.
Yeah.
If I'm San
Antonio, hard to argue.
Good luck scoring on a team with Giannis and Wemby as the two front court options there. And by the way, Wemby can space the floor, allow Giannis to attack the rim. I get like they're obviously very young. Wemby's 21 years old. Stephon Castle, reigning rookie of the year.
Yep.
But they kind of already showed their cards when they traded for De'Aaron Fox this year. That was a win now move. That was we're starting to go all in. And like realistically, Victor Wembanyama has arrived. This is not him up and coming. He is among the best players in the NBA right now. So if I'm San Antonio, I absolutely am making that call for Giannis. I would do it. I did want to bring back, though, Sam, Kevin Durant is not an upgrade to you or is not a guy that you would consider from the Knicks perspective, and why not?
No, because, look, Kevin Durant's awesome. He's just old. Like, what we were talking about.
37.
But the
37 in
37,
September.
Yeah, I was about to say 35. He's 37 years old. We're talking about a guy where all these Knicks players are in their late 20s, around 27, 28, or like just turning 30 or so. So
but you
have a nice window here. Kevin Durant's window is what, 2 years?
What do you have to give up to get him, right? Like
probably Cat. You're sending Cat to Phoenix as sort of the staple of that. It's going to be complicated. Like all these trades are due to all the CBA stuff. It probably involves Bridges too, and you do that 10 times out of 10. Like you're saying that about Kevin Durant.
You're giving up more depth. Like look what the Phoenix Suns just built when they were just star hunted and had no depth. Bridges is an important piece of that. If you're doing Cat, KD straight up, maybe I'd have the conversation, even though probably not. Just because I think you have a longer runway with Cat, and because he has more left in his career than KD does. You never know.
Runway ain't going as far.
You never know when KD's going to start descending as a player.
The big picture conversation for me is, man, you just went to the ECF and now you're blowing this all up. New head coach, you're trading two major pieces of Karl-Anthony Towns and Bridges. Like, I get it. Giannis is the end all be all. You're right about Giannis. I'll give up whatever you want. But if it's not Giannis, we're talking about Kevin Durant. I love KD, but he's not Kevin Durant from 5-6 years ago. He's 37 years old. The dude's injury prone.
You know what he averaged last year, Brace? He averaged 28.6 points per game, 4.2 assists, 6.0 rebounds, shot 43% from three. That's
what was
still
his team's record. What was his team's record?
You're putting that on Kevin Durant there?
Not all of it, but I think it's a contributing factor when you just have stars that you pile up without a real roster. Like building a roster matters.
I think you are rolling the dice, believing that he's going to give you 60+ games like he did this year.
Here's my pitch is if you're the Knicks right now, the window to win is next year to win a championship. That the East will never be a clearer path than what it currently is. Jason Tatum has an Achilles tear. Giannis is on his way out of Milwaukee. Who knows what the Sixers team is even going to look like? Indiana is good, but not this team that you should be running from. The Cavs are good, but not this team that you should be running from. And you saw their flaws in the playoffs. That if you're New York right now, it's time to go for it. That Kevin Durant being old is not a bad thing to me in my mind.
Yeah, it's time to go for it. But this Knicks team that we're looking at all these avenues to improve, without the flukiest game 1 collapse in NBA history, where they're in a game 7 and probably one game that would have been last night, that we're one game away from an NBA Finals appearance. So like going for it can also mean running this team back and building around the margins, adding depth, a full year of Mr. Robinson, and for them, a coaching change.
That's where I'm at. And I'm minus the coaching change. I would have kept it the same and try and add and see who else you can get in there to New York to play in this arena where the fans are absolutely just maniacal. So I thought that would have been.
I want to say though, like it
right
kind
way,
of Sean's point. It kind of tells you what the Knicks actually thought about their season, where they were actually more disappointed than you would have think.
Shame on them.
And they probably saw this playoff run as a bit fluky because you don't fire.
Shame on them
after he brought you to your first conference finals in 25 years. So they probably saw this as a bit fluky as this run because, like, look, they were down by 20 in 3 other playoff wins this year. That was the first time in NBA history the team came back from 20 points 3 times. But the other equation is that. You can say like they need a new voice in the locker room. There probably is some truth to the fact that he might have lost the voice of a locker room. And like there was a lot of player only meetings. Like after game 2, that locker room apparently was pretty ugly after the game 2 loss to the Pacers. With the things with Cat where he wasn't being receptive to some of the things they were telling him to do with pick and roll coverages. It's like there could be some truth to him losing his voice in the locker room, but he still bought him from the best player on the team. And that mattered.
Yeah. Kyle Fisher checking in. He's got a good one here. I apologize. Let me bring this one up. Tibbs has taken every one of his teams to their best record in 10 plus years, and then taken 2 of them to their deepest playoff runs in the 21st century. The dude backs it up. That's for sure.
One of the most misunderstood coaches of this generation.
I've got a soft spot for Tibbs as well. But I like Tibbs too, and I understand. Like,
would you get rid of Nick Nurse right now for him?
Not based on the context of the Sixers. No,
correct. Yeah, the roster's a little bleak. Right.
I wouldn't go that far. I think,
come on, these guys aren't lasting. They're not healthy.
Well, that's why I don't think Tom Thibodeau is the answer for coaching Joel Embiid.
That's kind of where I imagine him trying to play Joel Embiid 48 minutes a night.
Right. That's where I landed on.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
The guy I also want to bring up, Josh Hart, man. Can we have a Josh Hart conversation of can this dude be as important to a contending championship winning team as he is to the New York Knicks? Because if we want to call a spade, and he put this fully on himself. He stood up and took it like a man after the game or after the series here. He was a large reason why they lost that series.
I think Jay Wright can get more out of him.
Do you? You think he can? I think he had it.
No. I just think from the entertainment standpoint, I do. Sure. I am intrigued by Jay Wright though, getting one more crack and going into that situation because it does seem like that would really. Jay's coming out of retirement. Number 1, you're getting the best of them. And then number 2, it would just raise the game from the entertainment standpoint. It'd be so much fun to tune into. And oh, by the way, with Brunson, there is that connection. I don't think he would be locked into running it back with all Villanova alum. I don't know if that would be the smart approach. But Brunson isn't going anywhere. That's for damn sure.
Sure. To Sean's point about Josh Hart, he does have too large of a role. And look, when they traded for him, he was to be a bench player and give them some depth. He became a starter because Julius Randle went out, and then he was great last year. And look, he was awful against the Pacers, and he'll be the first to tell you that.
Yeah.
But he was awful defensively, which is shocking from him because he's a great defender, and he was just getting back cut. Yeah, in transition. Yeah, it was a weird series. It was an uncharacteristic series. I'm not like super concerned about Josh Hart. The bigger concern has always been with his offensive role and his offensive fit with that team. It was just a weird series where like some guys just had bad series. Good players had bad series. Mental stuff comes up, and he just had a bad series. He does have too large of a role on this Knicks team for sure, and he's capable of playing so many minutes a night. And he's such a workhorse where it will embrace that challenge. But again, part of what I mean by building around the margins is building that depth, building. Adding another starting spot that could replace Josh Hart. Maybe even a Mitchell Robinson goes in the starting lineup and Josh Hart comes off the bench like they actually implemented in the playoffs. If Mitch is healthy for an entire year, if they actually hold on to Mitch because he's on an expiring deal, they might want to look to trade him. But look, yeah, you're right that Josh Hart just has too large of a role, and that'll be one of the things where they try to address that this season. But he'll still be on the roster, just hopefully coming off the bench for them.
Yeah, but that's my point is how can you improve the roster? Of course, we understand what it takes as far as money is concerned. And bump a guy like Josh Hart to the bench. Like that, he's a great player coming off the bench, full of that energy. What he does, as far as rebounding is concerned, that's the type of guy you want off the bench, not starting for you And I know he had some moments this year and definitely last year as a starter, but that's how you really raise the game up. And again, the biggest point for me, guys, is we're talking about a team, and Thibs made the joke. He didn't make a joke, excuse me, but he did say it, and I know he's getting terrorized for it, was we were one of the final three. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? One of the final three? Like, get out of here with that nonsense. Look, the Knicks were all in, right? They made all these moves. They came up short, front office saying, thanks, but no thanks. It's not good enough, and now they need to find a new head coach.
My point has always been that they weren't all in for 1 year. Like, these guys are all under contract and they have to work out the Bridges extension, but these guys are under contract. It was all in for
the front office isn't thinking that, or at least somebody isn't thinking that way.
Yeah, I guess not. And again, I think it's ownership, but they should have been all in for a 3 to 4 year window, because that's what they had when they traded for Cat. It wasn't going to be a 1 year thing. And I guess expectations raised throughout the season and throughout the playoff run, and they didn't meet them. And this was probably a decision that was made more towards the end of the regular season, because when you look at the run they made, what could Thibs have really done, especially when he showed that all his guys stayed healthy and he adapted throughout the playoffs.
And that's another point too. Thank you for saying what you just said there. Right? Like, when we talk about the Knicks, and yeah, they are flawed, and yes, they did have the battle back from down 22 times in that Celtics series, 3 times in this. What are we saying about the Pacers?
They're good. They're
I know they're a good team, but have they not had a horseshoe up their ass too as well in this playoff run?
Like, being lucky, you're saying?
There's always a certain amount of luck when it comes to teams that eventually play for a championship or win a championship.
100%.
We can even go back to Eagles. We can talk about, the Phillies in 08. Like, there's always an amount of luck, ball bouncing your way, whatever it may be. But it's like, all right, now if the Pacers came up short, are they firing everybody?
But the Pacers just did this exact same thing last year. That they built off where they went last year and got for, like, there's linear steps the Pacers have taken, and you can make the same case that the Knicks have here. They absolutely have, moving in the proper direction.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit, I think the Knicks, the Pacers are still not getting the respect that they should have earned with how they're playing here, is sort of my case here. It's a different formula than they have in a lot of NBA teams, but it's successful. It's working for them. And like, the success should speak for itself in a way that I still don't think people are quite acknowledging.
You know what we've kind of realized throughout the last couple years is NBA organizations do not value coaches at all. They're just a replaceable commodity to them. And look, someone said pretty recently, I heard this, that NBA coaches are like the 10th most important person in the NBA, in the organization. You got the owner, obviously, you got the GM, the president of basketball operations, the CEO, then you have the best players, the stars' agents, and then you have the coach. So NBA coaches just are replaceable, and you're seeing that more and more throughout the NBA, where these guys have such a short leash, and they just see them as replaceable guys, where it's like anyone can really come in and have these same offensive and defensive philosophies, because it's a copycat league, and build the same culture. So these guys are just like, they're getting fired and hired left and right. It's just, they're replaceable commodities.
Let me just say this, as this one just bounced to my timeline. Apparently Thibs is going to make $30 million.
Wow.
He just signed an extension.
He just signed an extension. Didn't even kick in yet, apparently.
Yeah, last year he signed it. It's going to kick in next year.
That's like, I didn't even know that.
Phoenix, how many coaches they're paying? Milwaukee, same thing, right? Are the Sixers paying other coaches right now?
Well, the deal is, if you get another head coaching gig, that supersedes it. So, like, if Thibs is to take another job, that's all.
Thibs getting another job. This is it. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Why would you? If you're getting paid $30 million to sit at home, why would you?
Okay, but what we know about Thibs, this guy loves ball. Like, he coached for free. He's a grinder. He has no family. This guy loves ball. And now he has nothing to do.
Those people without families.
He did ESPN for a year.
He did
ESPN for a year, but he wasn't exactly.
Oh, he's brutal. He's got the personality of that wall right there. I don't want to see. You know what? Actually, ESPN will hire him. The
Morris twins. Remember the Morris twins?
Right, man. Put him right in the middle. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Look, Sam's here. Shamanard's here, and we will talk all things Knicks. Sam, I don't even think we got this one, so let's hit on this, and I want to get the NBA Finals with you two. But as far as coaching right now, is there one automatic call? Is there a dark horse candidate? If Brunson has some say in this, as I would hope he would, as dominant as he is, as gifted as he is, putting Jay Wright to the side, of course, like, is there somebody else that Brunson might like? What's your approach right now as far as finding that next head coach for the Knicks?
Yeah, luckily, because these teams just fire good head coaches all the time, there's a lot of them available. There's a ton of them available. So look, the first call is obviously to Jay Wright. And I know you guys talked about it already. And Brace, I saw you put it at 20%.
20%.
I don't know Jay Wright. I know some people that know him, but I have no idea what he's thinking about the situation. He'll get a call. Leon Rose will call him. I'd probably be pretty surprised if he took it. I think he has to consider it, and I think he would consider it for sure.
Yes.
I think he really likes his life right now. I think he really enjoys his life right now, just being on TV during the college basketball season.
That's it. Like he's gonna answer that phone call, and he's gonna say, "This is it. Is this the opportunity? Like this is this is."
Gonna think about it. It's the New York Knicks. You have to think about it.
If it's not this, then I am done coaching for the rest of my life. Hands down. Now, the USA basketball could play into it. Assistant coach could scratch that itch, whatever it may be. But, man, that actually pushed me to believing even more because Luke, and I love Luke, I'm not picking on him, but he was like, he's a college basketball coach. I'm like, he's got NBA chops. Like, let's be realistic.
He would succeed in the NBA for sure. He would succeed at any coaching at any level. Correct. And especially coaching a bunch of his former guys who respect him a ton and credit their rise and their success to him a lot.
Boy, man, it might do damage to that wig, though. He might turn gray.
That guy is great. Could we borrow some of his hair at 65 years old? I'm asking a 65-year-old to borrow his hair. But I can
never too late, Sam. It's never too late. Speaking of the hair with Thibs, like, 30 million, go fly to Turkey, Thibs. All right.
Yeah. The comb over has been hanging on by
I think he's past Turkey. I think the days of getting married are way past him. Back to Jay Wright. Yeah. I think he thinks about it. You have to think about it. It's the New York Knicks. It's coaching former guys. I do think he really likes his life right now, and I think he's past coaching. And he just does college basketball. During that season, he chills. He goes to the beach down the shore, the Jersey Shore around here. He was down in Wayne, going to concerts with his wife and his family. I think he really likes his life. It's a completely different lifestyle. You're going to go coach the NBA and coach the Knicks than what he's doing right now. And it seems like he hasn't had that urge or that itch. Definitely not to get back to college basketball. I think he's way done with college basketball for good reason. Everyone should be, but I think he's probably past the NBA too. I think he's just past coaching. Beyond him, he'll get the first call though. Beyond him, there's a lot of good names available. Just because all these good coaches just got fired. You got Mike Brown, the Kings' old coach, Mike Budenholzer, championship coach, Michael Malone. Michael Malone and Mike Budenholzer are also CAA guys. Of course, CAA is Rhodes' old agency, so there will be a lot of connections there. And Thibs was a CAA guy. You got Taylor Jenkins, the Grizzlies coach.
Yeah, I like Jenkins.
And then there's some assistants out there like Chris Quinn. I'm a huge fan of. He's the Miami associate head coach, and he's been on.
Do you think that they would go new though? Like that's a roll of the dice that I don't think you would do with the Knicks in New York.
A lot of new coaches have had success throughout the league, like not necessarily winning a championship, even though Steve Kerr won a championship in his first year. Joe Mazzulla had success in his
former player. I could see getting a new start. Sure.
Yeah.
The dude I keep hearing from like Knicks people sort of in the know or at least following close is Johnny Bryant as the guy. Yeah. And to lay out his whole story here, he's currently an associate head coach for the Cavs. He was on the Knicks staff the past 4 years and is currently a finalist for that Phoenix job. So the theory or the connecting the dots here is that they wanted to jump to the front of the line to get in on Johnny Bryant before he could take the Suns job.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And Jordan Ott is also a Cavs assistant who's a finalist for the Phoenix job. So I think there could be some truth to that too. It could be Johnny Bryant. That would be a new guy. Look, I think he would be a pretty good option. He definitely has a prior relationship with those players. So I think that would be a good option. But there's a lot of names. There's just so many names out there right now.
Stephen A. Smith, Timothy Chalamet,
Stephen A. Smith is listed on the odds board. Stephen A. Smith is listed on some odds board.
Tracy Morgan, come on, man.
Chalamet the sticks,
man. Yeah, let's go.
Ben Stiller, after disastrous season of Severance, Stiller should get the job.
I didn't watch Severance, but
season 2 is.
I just wrapped up The Studio on Apple. Man, it is a great show. Quick watch. Seth Rogen is perfect, and if you like Entourage, you'll like it. Apple's doing some good stuff. All right.
They also, I have a whole list of shows that I got to watch after the NBA season ends, and it's what's this new show? Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV. You heard of that?
With
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
That's on my list. I heard it was good.
It's good. Like it's one of those I fired off 4 episodes and I'm stuck on like 6, and it's like, all right, I get through it, but it's kind of lost me a little bit. But John Hamm is a stud, and apparently he's really blessed. Let's just put it that way. Don't ask me how Howard Stern. That's what it was. I know it from Howard Stern.
Blessed in what way?
Blessed in what way? Blessed.
Got you. Blessed. I mean, you can be blessed in a lot of ways. I got you.
I ain't scared of you. All right, let's keep it moving here. I'm an idiot. Daily Ticket, Sam Oshtry, Sean Barnard. All right, boys, let's talk about the NBA Finals. There's actually some play on the field. 5 o'clock hour, we'll get on over to the world of baseball. Sean Barnard's going to stick with me. We got Sam until 5 p.m. Let's talk about the NBA Finals. 9-point spread at this point in time. Game going up on Thursday. Line movement, Sam, 231 down from 233. I know we talked about this on Monday, and to bring people up to speed here, just to let you know, the Pacers and the Knicks as high as 223. I think that was the highest total in one of those games out of the 6 that they played. And in that game, they went up to 251. So here's the way I'm looking at this series, specifically when it comes to scoring. I just feel like Oklahoma City is going to get what they want. Pacers limited on defense, and I do think that we are going to see a ton of action. 231 is your number there. Take a look at the team totals. 120 for the OKC, 110 for the Pacers. I know it's risky, but I think it's high for a reason. I like the fact that it came down. Please keep coming south. Please. I'll take the over on 231. Is there a way you're looking at the total right now, Sam? Let's start there with you.
Yeah, and the under is how I'm looking at the total, and it's keep going down, which is interesting, and also the team total under, which I presume the Pacers team total under probably went down a notch or two from 110.5 where it was yesterday, but when we discussed it, and the big reason is because in the Pacers losses, wait, what's it at?
I say, yeah, yesterday was Monday. My fault. Yeah, it's all running together still. My bad.
And what the reason is because the Pacers' 2 losses against the Knicks, they failed to score 110, and in their losses,
hasn't moved. 110 is still the number. Okay, 120 and a half.
I still like that under. That's my favorite play of game 1, and it's because Tyrese Halliburton doesn't know what's coming. Like he can go back and look at the regular season film, and he can go back and look at the Thunder's previous playoffs and watch all the film, and he will obviously. Until you experience that aggressive ball pressure in a playoff setting, an NBA Finals setting, he doesn't know what's coming. It's going to completely shut off the Pacers' entire offense, because when he's shut off, the Pacers' offense is shut off because they need him to get downhill and drive and kick and put the defense in rotation. And this defense rotates and recovers so well. So the Thunder are going to have the Pacers are going to have a really hard time scoring against this Thunder defense. And I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to really struggle. His drives were way down in the regular season against the Thunder. His shot attempts were way down. His rim shots were way down. Everything. His points were way down. He scored 4 points in one of those 2 games against the Thunder earlier this season, I believe back in December. So everything is just way down for Tyrese Halliburton. And when he's not going, he's the engine for this Pacers offense. This Pacers offense isn't going to be going. So I don't think this Pacers offense is going to score easily. So I like they're under 110.5. And as we talked about yesterday, I like the Thunder to roll as well.
Yeah, and that's great. We're going head to head on that one. We'll have to cook up a little wager.
We'll do it.
I got an idea. Why don't we do like SGA style, right? Like
flopping?
No. Free throw merchant. No, like, you know, he wears these baggy pants. Like, we got to dress each other. Like, if you win,
dress each other. All right, we can dress each other. We'll go to the thrift shop. We'll go to the thrift store.
Exactly. Also, what was the one I was thinking of? Just when you got to pay off a bet, like if we take Hoosiers, we got to kick this around a little bit, and we will tonight at the F1. The great movie Hoosiers.
My all-time favorite movie.
We're talking about the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, early 70s, where, those style with, and you got the short shorts with the tank top and in high white socks, and the loser has to go run on and see if they can get in a pickup basketball game dressed up like Hoosiers.
I like that.
I think that's pretty funny. So
Sam, are you going to recreate my Hoosiers scene for our Knicks?
I just was thinking that did we make that bet for the Knicks Pacers series?
I was ready to hold up my end of the bargain. I'll say that.
So. I honestly forgot until this moment right here. I honestly forgot. You never texted me about it. I forgot. Yeah. So
we can find the receipts in the group chat here.
No, I know it happened. I think it was an individual text.
We got to pay off. We got to pay off. What is it?
So the stakes were for the Knicks versus Pacers that if the Knicks were to win that series, I would recreate a New York style rap video as a social post.
Wow.
Sam is going to do a scene from Hoosiers, a little Jimmy Chitwood action as kind of of a side by side.
Ooh,
I'll do it.
nice.
I owe you that. I do it.
I'm
I'm a
like
man of my
Jimmy's
word.
dad, drunk. I'll come down.
The Knicks lost. I honestly saw Hoosiers years ago and haven't seen a while, so I don't know exactly who that is and what that scene is.
Oh,
But you send me
man.
the scene and I'll recreate it. I owe you that.
Maybe the measure in the
Iconic.
basket. That might be that's probably
Whichever you
best
want.
one.
Whichever you
All right.
want.
I'll have to dig through the archives for that. But yeah.
All right, back to the NBA Finals again with the number that is, as far as wagering on this series, just way too expensive. Sean Barnard, is there a way you're looking to get involved with this series?
The series as a whole, yes, I do like the over. The game's over 5.5 is I believe where the number is sitting at for this one here. I think the Pacers are going to give a better run for the money than Sam Oshtry, and a lot of people are giving him credit here. And in fact, I'll take it a step further. I like Pacers money line for game one. That I do think it. Wow. I think it's a punch in the face.
Wow.
Put it.
Lord.
So if you want to know my basketball sicko, I don't know what you guys are doing watching TV shows, but I did watch the Pacers versus Thunder regular season matchup last night. There was nothing on TV, and for some reason it was on. So shout out to NBA TV for that.
They do a good job with that.
Yeah.
Was it game one or game two? Because game one was the day after Christmas.
That I watched the full one of that. Saw a little bit of the second one as well. They played them back to back.
Scored 4 points.
Yeah. And my takeaway from that game is that Indiana Pacers team looked nothing like the Indiana Pacers team that we've seen of late here. Like, they got a backcourt violation with 30 seconds left to go in that game. At that point, when it was a 5-point game, like it was a 2-point game with a minute and a half to go in that matchup there. I don't think it was as much of a gap. Now, to the same point, the Thunder have gotten better as well, for sure.
A little bit.
This is where stylistically I think it breaks down. I think we're going to see a lot of zone defense from this Pacers team. And I think they're going to live and die with Lou Dort and Alex Caruso shooting 3-pointers. That's what I think they're going to sell out. The counter to this, I think Indiana's defense is better than a lot of people are giving them credit. And their defenders can also fill it up. That Aaron Naismith, Andrew Nembhard, those guys can get red hot. Not quite the case with Alex Caruso and Lou Dort there. But I think that's going to be the clear focus. It's easier said than done. There's no doubt about it. But I do think this Pacers team is different than they were in the regular season, than we saw them, than these teams faced early on. And they are going to give them a run for their money.
The issue is, it's just like, it won't surprise me. And I told Sam this yesterday, that it will not surprise me if it does play out in 5 games the way that December game did. Now, again, the point spread per game is at 9. You're at 9-point spread. So I'm not going to sit here and tell to take OKC -9, right? But it won't surprise me that if it's a competitive game, back and forth, fourth quarter comes, defense prevails, and Oklahoma City Thunder win by an average margin of 6 points in 5 games.
So I watched that first Pacers Thunder game too. I went back and watched that from the regular season. And you're right that this Pacers team is completely different. Like, that was certainly a takeaway. This Pacers team is completely different. And it's impressive how far they've come. It's also true, though, that Tyrese Halliburton struggled because those are some of the best individual defenders that he'll see all season. And he hasn't faced defenders like that who they can just throw so many different guys at him. Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams, all of them. They can just throw them at him. And he hasn't faced that type of defense all playoff run. And also, Chet Holmgren didn't play in those 2 games against the Pacers during the regular season, which is a big difference. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. The Pacers are going to go zone, and they could have some success just throwing everything at Shea and Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about the Thunder's defense, though, because, yes, Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard and all those guys, Andrew Nembhard shot poorly last series. Of course, Aaron Nesmith has just been shooting great from 3 throughout this playoff run. The Pacers are shooting 40% from 3, though, because they're averaging 21 wide open 3-point attempts per game. They have the number 1 wide open 3-point frequency in the entire NBA playoffs. The reason for that is because they're getting downhill so easily, and the point of attack defense that they've played, whether it's the Knicks or the Cavs or the Bucks throughout this playoff run, they've been poor point of attack defenses. It's a completely different story. The Pacers create those threes by getting downhill and getting in the lane and through their drives. Those drives are going to be shut off because the Thunder's defense is that good and they rotate and recover that well. So those threes are going to be way more difficult threes. They're not going to be nearly as open, and that percentages from 3 is going to go way down because of that. So I don't buy this Pacers offense is going to have a lot of success against the Thunder, and that's why I think it's going to be the Thunder's defense that take care of business in game 1 and throughout the whole series, and that's why I got to go in 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not going to be easy. I'm not going to undersell that by any means. I do think Indiana is going to play a lot of Halliburton off ball as sort of a little bit of a counter too. I think Naismith probably steps up or probably Nembhard, honestly, is more of a primary creator, and that's sort of the counter for stopping Halliburton from just getting swallowed up. Now, the obvious kind of concern there is it's not like Halliburton is this quick release guy that you can run pin downs to create looks from. Yeah. He's got that unique look that, like, is problematic there. But I do think you can combat that in a little bit by getting him off ball, running screens, getting him cutting, ways like that. And I think they'll explore a ton throughout the series. There's no doubt that this Thunder defense is legit. They have bodies after bodies. But I do think that, like, offensively, this Pacers team has more ways in which they can score. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is sort of the trump card here, that you put him in any isolation situation, which he will still get plenty. He's going to get his. He's going to score 30-plus points in most of these games in this series. But I just think, like, once again, I don't know what Indiana has to do to get a little bit more respect for who they are as a basketball team. These numbers do feel disrespectful from a betting perspective to me. They know that.
Yeah, but the whole public is on the Pacers. That's the issue.
Yeah, I mean,
like, as
you're
if
taking that as like a reason to not believe in them.
No, my point is, like, all right, the numbers are the numbers. Like, they set the numbers, and if everybody was believing in Oklahoma City, then they would be even more inflated. But here we are, still holding at 9 with 80% of the money coming in on the Pacers.
But it's like, what are you going to do? Throw on Oklahoma City minus 700?
Right.
That's the only really option if you're going to bet the series price is the Pacers.
I'm talking about point spread more than anything with 9. Okay. And that does tell me, yeah, this is going to be a beatdown. I'm not here to argue that. And there is a little part of me that believes that the Pacers are being disrespected, but also, dude, you said it, Sean. This is one of the best defensive teams we've ever seen. Ever. And on the flip side, the one thing that I took away watching the Pacers and the Knicks was that Oklahoma City might score 200 in a game.
I've been dead wrong about the Pacers. I picked against the Pacers every series in this playoff. So like I'll eat it. I've been dead wrong. And they just beat a healthy Knicks team. So they finally earned my respect. But this isn't about the Pacers. This is not me disrespecting the Pacers at all. I have the utmost respect for how they play. This is credit. This is all credit to a historically great Thunder defense, and based on net rating, a historically great Thunder team that is just doesn't matter who they play from the East, West, whatever. The Thunder were going to win the NBA championship. I've been saying it all year, and I've no doubt that it's going to happen against the Pacers this series. So it's more about the Thunder than it is the Pacers. And there's one more point. The Pacers' whole play style is pace, right? Like pace. That's what we know this Pacers team has. They play really fast. The Thunder actually have played with a faster pace this playoffs than the Pacers. So like the Thunder do everything the Pacers do, they just do it better. And from the turnover perspective, from the forced turnover perspective, everything, it all favors the Thunder. And I don't really see a path where, like, I saw it last series, even though I picked against the Pacers. I saw the path where they could beat the Knicks.
-0.
I don't see it this series.
I think you said -0 chance of the Pacers beating the Knicks.
To be fair, I said, all right, Mark Henry loves to bring this up. I said negative chance in the group chat. My official pick, and you know this, Sean, my official pick was Knicks in 7. So it's not like I gave the Pacers no chance.
True. Sure. You did say 7. Close.
Sure. Right. To set the record straight on the public betting stuff right now, so this just for game 1 here, this courtesy of DraftKings Network, DraftKings betting splits right here.
Yeah.
On the money line, the Thunder are 51% of the bets and 35% of the betting handle.
Changed a little bit.
The spread, the -9 in favor of the Thunder, 38% of the bets, 58% of the handle. So Pacers are 42% of the handle, 62% of the bets. So not that crazy.
No, yeah, we've definitely had some shifting over the last day or so. Good call on that one. Way to correct the record there, Sean Bedard, and make me look like an ass. Not kidding. Good job on that one. Doesn't take much. All right. Hey, Sam, we'll see you in a little bit down at the F1 Arcade. Looking forward to racing, my friend. Quick one, though, because you are a Phillies guy. Phillies headed north of the border. You ever been to Canada?
Yeah, I have. Been to Montreal.
How did it go? What'd you do?
You don't know.
What were you up there
you
for?
You don't want to know what I did, but it was an awesome. It was an awesome city. Very fun city. I went when I was 19 years old. I went when I was 19. The drinking age in Montreal is 18, so we went when we were 19.
Sam's also a coach. I didn't know this too.
Wow, I didn't know.
Coaches some kids.
I wouldn't say like a title of mine as a coach, but I volunteer coach. Yes.
Yeah, we didn't know that. We're learning more and more. He likes to hang out on boats in Miami. He went to Montreal when he was 19. He coaches kids. Sam Oshtry.
I don't know if all those three things go well together, but.
All right. Name the Phillies player that got stuck at the border and for what reason? Off the top of your head, go.
If one did, or you're telling me one did?
Yeah. Hypothetical. Yeah. We had JT. They were questioning him about January 6th. That's old. Oh, that's tired and used.
That's I would say Strom. I would say Strom.
It's a good one. Just a good one.
Again, you guys are just going off of the sheer look. Wow.
His look is just like, let's stop this guy, give him a little check, an extra check. A story for another day. I got stopped coming back into America from Montreal.
Really?
How about we save that for Thursday story time?
Yes.
Okay.
Thursday
I got
story
stopped at
time.
the border coming back from Canada to from Montreal back to Philly. It's
I love
a hell of a story. I can tell now because I'm way past 21. But hell of a story.
Wow. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear this one. Sammy breaking the law back in the day. It's all right. Not kid. All right. He's going to join me in studio on Thursday. Looking forward to that. Of course, Game 1 NBA Finals taking place Thursday evening. DraftKings Sportsbook showing OKC 9-point favorite. Sam, we will see you at the F1 Arcade. 5 o'clock hour on the other side. Sean Barnard's going to hang with me. We got a lot to discuss. We'll stay with the New York Knicks discussion. And again, people want to get involved. Love to hear some opinions on this because with Tom Thibodeau being fired today, the question that I have, Sean Barnard, for the people out there was firing Thibs the right move, or is this possibly a mistake the Knicks will regret? And that, when you answer that question, will they regret firing Tom Thibodeau? I think it's pretty easy to come up with that answer on the right way. And then you kind of find out like, all right, maybe that led them in this direction of moving on. We'll talk more about, of course, the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau and whether or not Jay Wright picked up the phone. It's the Daily Ticket, 5 o'clock hour on the other side.
This September, our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Presented by Capital One is coming back to Las Vegas.
And you can win your way to be there.
Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets go on sale June 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific through AXS.com. But starting June 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders get first access to tickets and other exclusive offers for 48 hours only, or while pre-sale tickets last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet? Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Presented by Capital One.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
What you end up on the Walt Whitman into New Jersey, length of the bridge down to 42 south at Creek Road, and then so from that point all the way down to Blackwood Clementon Road, and then in Washington Township, southbound 42, blocked at Stagecoach Road with the down utility pole. On the Schuylkill westbound Jan University, the Vine Expressway, Boulevard to Belmont, and so Blue Route to Gulf Mills, eastbound slow 202 to Belmont, and Janet Perch and Montgomery Drive to south. Vine Expressway tied up both ways. Schuylkill to 95 northbound back up Allegheny to Bridge. Lara Totella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes give you options from a meal of classic faves to a feast of more indulgences to a whole world of deliciousness. Get Lux for less and choose your Lux Cravings box at Taco Bell today. At participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all. Hey, it's Sean Brace, and we can help with everything from radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can even get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of it all, do yourself a favor right now. Call 844-844-iHeart or visit iHeartAdvertising.com today.
Looking for the perfect outdoor dining experience with a view? Join us at Randall's Restaurant, located in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Don't miss out on our summer promotions, including burgers and brew night every Tuesday starting June 10th, with delicious chef-crafted burgers paired with a refreshing selection of brews. On July 4th weekend, drink specials to celebrate the holiday, and Wine Fest coming in late August. More details at randallslegacy.com. That's randallslegacy.com.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Who owns the summer? Big Three. Who's got the hottest professional 3-on-3 basketball league of the summer? Ice Cube's Big Three. It's summer in the city. Big Three's back. Tune in
to CBS and Vice all summer long. That's right. I choose Big Three, the best 3-on-3 basketball league in the world. Don't miss the incredible showdown. Playing the game like it's meant to be played with your favorite Big Three players like Dwight Howard, Michael Beast, Jordan Crawford, Gerald Green, Kemba Walker, Jason Richardson, ISO Joe Johnson, Montrezl Harrell, and many more. You'll also see the legendary and Hall of Fame coaches like Michael Cooper, Calvin Murphy, Steven Jackson, Nick Young, Nancy Lieberman, and Julius Dr. J. Irving, George the Iceman Gervin, and a 2024 Big Three champion, Gary Payton. Fire up the grill and bring in the family. It's Big Three, baby. Summer in the city. And we got a special halftime musical guest. Tune in to CBS Advice all summer long. Oh, yay, yay.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Rocket.com is the new home for all things homeownership. Whether you're buying your first home, finding your next one, or unlocking home equity to fund one of your dreams, there's only one destination that has everything you need to get started all under one roof. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Oh, no, not again, Moose. That's my third premium ball in the water today.
So just grab another one, Harry.
Yeah, easy for you to say. These balls are expensive.
Not mine. I get all my balls from buymyballs.com. That's balls with a Z. Top quality, recycled premium brands for a fraction of the price.
Wait a second, Moose. So you're playing premium balls and not freaking out when you lose one?
Yeah, you got it. Hurry up. You're holding everybody up.
Ha. Yep. I'm ordering from buymyballs.com right now. Buy premium golf balls without the premium price. BuyMyBalls.com.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know. We highlight Jennifer Lawson, President and CEO of Keep America Beautiful. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
If you're into true crime Tonight will be your new obsession.
We're unpacking the latest true crime headlines with our team of experts, covering all of the major trials that are heating up this summer.
From the team that brought you the Piketon Massacre and Murder 101, it's a first-of-its-kind live interactive true crime radio show.
5 nights a week, we go live with bold opinions, expert insight, and real-time listener call-ins.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search True Crime Tonight, and start binging now. Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-iHeart.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Wondering what a personal message with your credit card number has in common with way too many pictures of your dog? Well, they're both private. Because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
It'll be a bit hazy overnight with some wildfire smoke drifting in from Canada. Low temperatures, though, will remain comfortable in the 50s, right around 60 for the city. And then quite warm here. In fact, we're tracking our warmest day of the year, 88 degrees for Wednesday. Still that haze in the upper part of the atmosphere and a tad more humid as well, but it stays dry all day. I'm meteorologist Adam Joseph with your 6ABC forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Traffic is crawling on the westbound Vine Expressway, 8th Street to approaching the Schuylkill with a disabled vehicle in the left lane. Eastbound tied up, Schuylkill 95 northbound heavy Allegheny up to Bridge. Southbound Copman to Bridge and approaching 420 to 320. Blue Route northbound backed up 95 to Route 1. Southbound delays approaching Broomall to Media Swarthmore. Eastbound Schuylkill heavy 202 to Belmont and jammed Montgomery Drive to South. Westbound jammed approaching University Divine and Boulevard to Belmont. To tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes give you options from a meal of classic faves to a feast of more indulgences to a whole world of deliciousness. Get Lux for less and choose your Lux Cravings box at Taco Bell today. At participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine. And probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Camping is such an adventure. I love how there's a surprise around every corner. Except when I'm surprised with a sudden allergy attack. Luckily, I've got Claritin D to attack back. And I didn't even need a prescription for this.
Get fast, powerful relief from your worst symptoms, like nasal congestion. It's so fast, it starts working in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I can enjoy sleeping under the stars instead of sneezing under them.
Claritin clears. Use as directed.
Do you disregard people's personal space? Sitting next to people in public, even if there are tons of open seats? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale and get a queen mattress and adjustable base for just $499.99. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Yeah, the big story in the sports world, the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau. 5 seasons, 4 of them successful, made the playoffs 4 to 5 years, back-to-back 50-plus wins, and an Eastern Conference Finals trip, first one in 25 years, Barnard, not good enough for the New York Knicks front office, and then some. Of course, we will find out more exactly why this decision took place and removing Tom Thibodeau after the most successful season in 25 years for the Knicks. But it is definitely, look, it is a shocker today, but when you really break it down, it's the NBA. You're hired to be fired.
Yep. Especially coaches. And like they are viewed as disposable by a lot of front offices, as we kind of talked about in the last hour. And that's obviously the case here. They very clearly believe that any other coach can plug in and get the same results Tom Thibodeau had. I do not believe that to quite be the case. And we'll see how this ultimately plays out. I think who they end up hiring will impact my feelings on this entire situation pretty significantly. There has to be a plan laid out, and it doesn't currently feel like there is, but that could change when a name is announced.
Yeah, again, when we went to break, I said, was firing Thibs the right move or a mistake the Knicks will regret, right? And I don't know if it's the right move at this point in time. It's hitting me as it's not.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to believe in a guy like Malone, who won a championship with the Nuggets, he has some stench on him. He got fired with 3 days left. And how good were the Nuggets? They took the OKC Thunder to 7 games. Like, dude, what happened there? You had a great team, and things fell apart, and they got rid of you with three games left before the playoffs. Putting that to the side, of course, you got Taylor Jenkins from Memphis. He's pretty good coach, X's and O style, has worked with some depth down there with the Grizzlies. I made somewhat of a comparison, just a small player to small player, from Ja Morant to Jalen Brunson. I know I'd rather have Jalen Brunson.
Very different players.
Extremely different player, but size-wise.
Sure.
Okay, so keeping it very bland and generic on that one. I thought that, okay, that's something you could play for. But there's got to be some other players, other coaches out there that we're not even thinking of. And to the point of, will it be a mistake the Knicks will regret? I don't think you will regret firing. And I think that makes life easier when it comes to making that decision.
I mean, history will tell the story with it. I think there is like a legitimate chance that they never reach where they did this season with this core. I once again would argue that Tom Thibodeau exceeded any realistic expectations you could have had for the Knicks this season. And I don't view this as this long-term, like successful organization that they've built up. I don't see them as these perennial contenders the way it's being built out. I think they had as clear a path as you could possibly look at. I still think that roster has flaws, and they took advantage of an opportunity that presented itself. You did get Jason Tatum tear his Achilles. You did get a clear opportunity to have a path through to almost the NBA Finals and couldn't quite execute there. The East is going to get tougher. Then next year we will see what happens, but I don't know. I think that they are feeling themselves a little bit more than they should from an overall roster perspective.
I couldn't agree more with you, because I said it yesterday. Easy, Knicks fans. You had a great year, and you're going to get into the. And it's funny because it always comes back to the Sixers, right? When we're talking about NBA hoops, some way, somehow, it always comes back to the Sixers. And I told you this story earlier today that Elton Brand ends up in my gym, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not trying to be two-faced, but like if I had a real deal open conversation with EB or Daryl Morey or whatever it may be, like, you don't want to be too negative. This year, I get it was terrible. It was a terrible season, no doubt about it. But what I mean is, how many years in a row did the Sixers make the playoffs?
Six,
right?
Yes.
6. Not good enough. Had a 1 seed at one point in time. This team
Lost
won
to the Hawks.
bunch of games, right? Won a bunch of games, and it just was not good enough. And I don't necessarily know that if the Sixers had what the Knicks had this year, what we're saying. Like, I still believe there's a portion of the franchise that it wouldn't be good enough. And it's just like, I want to caution everybody. And I know nobody cares because it's about championships and that's it. But like, there's only one team that wins it all, man. And I know it's cliche and it's tired, but it's the truth. Like, and now the Knicks, here they are, because they're not the one team that's standing after it's all said and done. They're blowing it up. And that's what it feels like right now.
It does. Well, I kind of took it the opposite way. The fact that they fired Thibs is, I kind of perceived it as they are going to try and run this back and just blame this on a coaching thing. I think that's the wrong view. I think this is a roster conversation. I think it's a Karl Anthony Towns conversation, that there's a 7-foot zesty elephant in the room for why that team could not, like, has some
My Lord.
But seriously, like, that is where Karl Anthony Towns is a flawed basketball player, man. And we've now seen this at several different locations. You could make the case that he got Tom Thibodeau fired twice in his career now.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I think that's the real talking point, and that they are going to try and dress this up as just a coaching thing.
All right. Well, Thibs got fired twice by Karl Anthony Towns. It's pretty funny, but all you need to do is trade Paul George to win an NBA championship. It's just funny how these things work in the NBA, man. I love it. I did see, another talking point that we were hitting on a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people are having that, but did see Yahoo Sports run that out, that all you need to do is trade Paul George to reach the NBA Finals. The question I would have on that, though, Sean Barnard, is shouldn't ESPN or ABC or whoever has the games, like, get Paul George on the broadcast?
That would be interesting. He would do it. I mean, he did last year.
Correct.
So I don't, he probably doesn't really want to be talking about that specific point. I would probably guess there. I am curious, who do you think Paul George is rooting for in these finals?
Pacers.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Indiana. I mean, those were the Paul George years.
I was going to say that. Wasn't it a whole different world, like when Paul George was playing? Remember he broke his leg with USA?
One of the most nasty leg breaks ever.
That was a long time ago.
People do, like, now we talk about Paul George for who he is, obviously, and he's not like the prime version by any means. There was a time, man, where Paul George was the dude going toe-to-toe with LeBron with the Pacers there in the Eastern Conference Finals. Paul George was that guy for a minute there, and injuries and age have caught up to him to an extent for sure. But in his time, in his prime, Paul George was the real deal.
Rob checking in. Of course, we welcome all the questions, comments, and concerns via our stream. Any chance KD gets traded for Bridges and Josh Hart? Sean Barnard, is that enough?
I think probably not from Phoenix perspective. I think there's a lot of people talking about the Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker relationship, that those two are still very close to these days, grew up playing hoops together and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of the connection people are making. From the Knicks perspective, you do that 10 times out of 10 in my mind. I don't quite get the sourness on Kevin Durant from the overall perspective. I get the age, but dude, he's still Kevin Durant, man. And like, you can't convince me that. I don't care if Mikal Bridges is 29 years old. 37-year-old Kevin Durant is a miles better basketball player.
Yeah, but doesn't it have the feel of like what the Sixers are doing in it? It's funny because this is something I was thinking about earlier this morning. And again, just spitballing here. Don't hold me to it. But like, yes, the Sixers, we understand what they did. It wasn't hard to believe why they're in this position right now, where they went out star hunting and getting Paul George and Adam with Joel Embiid. And then you see what the Knicks did. The Knicks had a little something special going on. The chemistry. They were actually proving people wrong last year. They were great last year, and this year they were even better. So it's like, I get it, right? You know, Durant is a star. He's one of the greatest shooters the game has ever seen. Is it going to be fun to see him at the Garden? Of course. But I don't know if that necessarily makes you better.
But it's a principle versus execution thing for me. And like to stick with the Sixers example, star hunting in itself was not the problem. The guys that they brought in was the problem.
Correct.
You got Tobias Harris.
But
here.
Kevin Durant is the same thing as Paul George to a point.
But he's not. But he's not.
37, Sean.
But he averaged 26, 6 and 4 last year on the Phoenix Suns team that like,
and then he got hurt.
Yeah, but like you're telling me the Knicks don't need another guy who can legitimately create in the half court or another shot maker? Like, I think they do. I think they very clearly do. And that to me it's Kevin Durant. It doesn't get better than that even at this age.
No, I promise you, if you put that on my desk and I had to make a decision, I'm most likely saying yes. Like, okay, let's get Kevin Durant in the Knicks uniform.
To rephrase this question then, is there in Mikal Bridges at his absolute peak as a player, where he's had it, it's still coming, however we're going to view it, does he ever get better than this current version of Kevin Durant?
He has to. Oh, no, than this current version?
My answer is very clearly no. To that.
Yeah, but doesn't he do more though?
I don't
on the
so.
like the defensive side, the other stuff needed. I get it, you know, and there's nothing more important than a guy that can go ahead and fill it up from and oh, by the way, let me ask you this, because now you can keep Karl Anthony Towns. Does that work or no? Is Cat got to go automatically in your mind, no matter what?
Can I give you the Karl Anthony Towns contract right now?
He's not going anywhere.
This is well, for starters, what sent him out of Minnesota is pretty much purely a financial decision. Karl Anthony Towns is making $53 million next year, $57 million the following season, $61 million player option in 27-28. It's a lot of money for Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, so he's not going anywhere.
I mean, Phoenix is crazy enough to try it, and I do think that they are in a spot where they would talk themselves into extending the window, where it has not worked when you went in. I mean, Bradley Beal is the clear issue there, but you're certainly not moving that contract. That's impossible. When you have Devin Booker, who is very active in their coaching search and very clearly the foundational piece for how they view their franchise, I do see them being capable of talking themselves into You have a longer window with Cat. There is a relationship between him and Booker. Let's figure some things out. So I think it's possible. It certainly is not the easiest contract to move.
Does a starting five of Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Kevin Durant, am I off the beaten path on this with
They
those
still have
three?
OG Anunoby, by the way.
All right, so who else is filling out that starting five if those are your three pieces right there?
OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson, and that's a far better starting five than anything they put on the floor this year.
It's hard to argue.
That's a very good team. That's an Eastern Conference favorite team if they can execute that.
All right, so who's bringing Kevin Durant in as far as head coaching is concerned? Because now that's what Durant's asking. Like, yo, I'll go to New York, but they don't have a damn head coach.
I mean, he's had how many different ones in Phoenix and how many different ones like in his career here?
Steve Nash.
Wow, yeah, that would be an interesting callback. I wonder what he's doing. Mind the game with LeBron. I mean, that does seem to be the feeder program to NBA head coaching.
JJ Redick got the gig. Steve Nash, come on down. I don't know if Nash really struck me as a head coach in Brooklyn. That's fair to say, right?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy how quickly he got thrown in the fire too.
I don't know. I don't know what happens. I just know that the Knicks are just giving us a little ammunition to get into here, and I appreciate that because today was going to be a fun day. It always is a fun show here in the Daily Ticket, especially when we get Sean in studio, and we had Luke earlier, Sam Oshtry as well, but definitely was not banging for this to happen, that's for sure. And the Knicks front and center, the topic of discussion in the sports world. Love to get everybody involved. Hopefully, Rob, we answered that question to you. Because, yeah, I'm right there with Sean on that one. That's a pretty decent starting five versus what they were rolling out there.
And the other part, to hit on Josh Hart a little more, like when we talk about this concept, like I agree with Sam's point that they need more depth here. When we're talking about spreading it out, Josh Hart is making $19 million next year. You're telling me it could not be more beneficial to spread that over. You can get a $12 million and $7 million guy in exchange for Josh Hart, and whatever the case may be. That's sort of a direction that I think they kind of got to lean into well. And it's hard because, no pun intended, but he is like the heart and soul of that team to an extent. They're in a tough spot. I'm very surprised. This sent like a potential domino effect of moves that I just didn't really foresee this Knicks offseason going.
Yeah, I did not believe that this was going to happen either. I thought for sure he'd be back, run it back. Why blow it up? It was a good thing for them, but clearly there is definitely a change in the approach as far as front office is concerned, specifically the owner, Dolan. It feels like it's definitely his call here, and that's understood. He is the owner after it's all said and done. But, man, this was a really good team, have a great season this year, and I just feel like, man, you would hope that as a coach who had the success that Thibs just did, he would get another opportunity, but not the case. He's out. So see you later. We do have the NBA Finals coming up. Again, we hit on that a little earlier today. Thursday, Game 1, 9-point spread in favor of OKC at home, 231. OKC 2-0 already versus the Pacers this season, regular season. We were talking a little bit more in depth about what those games look like. Sean and both Sam went back and watched those games, and clearly two different teams right now, which is scary. When it comes to So I have to think about it from the standpoint of, okay, what we just saw from the Minnesota Timberwolves approach to slowing/trying to limit SGA. And he is the MVP, and he is the most dominant player in the game and playoffs as well. He had a great season. He averaged the league best 32.7 points this whole year. Playoffs, he's averaging 29.8, which is third best in the league. He can do a little bit of everything. But the approach for the Pacers has to be somewhat different than what the T-Wolves did, or you could just expect that to happen as far as SGA getting what he wants. With that, and this is a great gambling perspective question, if SGA is somewhat double-teamed and he has to dump it and he's got to get rid of it, which, oh, by the way, he's pretty damn good as far as his assist numbers are concerned. I had those down here, 8.3 assists in the Western Conference Finals, so pretty good there. Who do you think is going to be the beneficiary from the Oklahoma City perspective if SGA has to get rid of the ball?
From a betting perspective, I love targeting Alex Caruso and Lou Dort three-pointers.
Really?
That's where I think the Pacers are going to kind of live and die with. We've seen different forms of this from a playoff perspective. I mean, in that Nuggets series, we saw Lou Dort have his 5 3-point game after really struggling. They clearly have a decent leash for how much they trust him there. The other question, which has mostly been answered in this playoff run, has been about Jalen Williams here. That's kind of been the larger question with this Thunder team. It has not been a doubt about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is the MVP, who is a guy that I think most people, the vast majority, would view as a clear-cut, capable of being a best player on a championship team. But is there the right co-star next to him? Jalen Williams has answered a lot of questions so far in this playoff run, but now he's got to do it in the NBA Finals. And Chet Holmgren, I think you can kind of throw in the same category here of, yes, a very good player, but are you capable of being that when the Pacers throw the kitchen sink at Shai, which is going to happen in this series?
Has to happen.
Yeah. Can you step up and be that guy? So Jalen Williams could be that secondary option if he kind of has the nights where he takes the game on himself. But I do like the 3-point numbers for both Caruso and Dort.
Good answer there. Love to get everybody involved at Fox PHL Gambler. Sean Barnard riding with me here. Be sure to follow Sean on all things socials. Yeah, I was reading a good article over at Yardbarker about the breakdown and the approach of defending SGA. And too often, it says, in the Western Conference Finals, the T-Wolves left a single defender on SGA, allowing him to easily run his man into screens. The results, 30.8 points per game in the 5-game series on 42.9% shooting from the floor. Oh, by the way, he made it to the line nearly 12 times per game, 40 of 47, 85%. Not bad from the star.
Yeah, not at all. And that's who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. I do think that Indiana leans on. They basically did, like they kind of have throughout this whole playoff run, of like the tactic of we're going to foul a ton and kind of just up the ante for what is considered a foul here. So I expect Naismith and Nembhard to be right in the middle of that, of touching up Shai as much as they can, picking up 94 feet, being physical from start to finish, and kind of forcing a strong playoff whistle from the referees. We'll see how effective that is, but I'm sure the fouls or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting to the line will be way too frequent of a topic of conversation.
All right, we are going to talk a little Phillies before we get out of here. Once again, taking on the Blue Jays. But one more on SGA, if you wouldn't mind, Sean, and I know you got a great big brain and you are all things NBA. Could you take us back to how SGA was involved as far as the trade for Paul George and ended up in a Thunder uniform, and as far as SGA, who he was when he was brought into the league, and where we're at now? Was SGA talked about like this? Again, I follow the league. I love the league. I pay attention to this stuff, but even I'm like, actually, I don't know that answer. So could you give us a little bit of the fill in, the background on how that deal went down, albeit 2019? I know that there's a story about Doc and how he played him. And was that the reality? Was that truth behind that as well, and how he ended up in OKC?
Well, no, that's the classic Doc Rivers revisionist history of like, well, I always believed, I knew he was going to be an MVP candidate from start to finish there. But how that really came together, that trade specifically. So Shai was drafted by the Clippers. He spent his rookie season there. And by the way, had a pretty good rookie season. He played all 82 games.
Where was he drafted?
Draft pick wise?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I want to say like 13th-ish, somewhere 11th overall.
Okay.
11th overall.
Gotcha.
So he was viewed as like a good prospect, but certainly not a guy that was like on this pathway to being a franchise cornerstone here. Where it got presented with the Clippers was this grand pitch of we're bringing in Kawhi Leonard and trading for Paul George. Remember, that happened at the consecutively there. That was the pitch to the Clippers. So he was sort of that young prospect thrown in that OKC mix. This is when they were just starting their entire rebuild. That the season that Paul George spent in Oklahoma City, like that was still a semi-contender. That Russell Westbrook was still there. When Russ left is when Paul George wanted to force out. That's when he kind of got ties with Kawhi, that they had this grand idea. Let's team up. Let's go to the Clippers. And the Clippers are in a spot where when Paul George and Kawhi said they want to team up for your franchise, you find a way to make it happen. So that was sort of the origin of that. And I mean, Doc has been on record talking about how he was against the trade, how he wanted to keep Shai and knew how special he was going to be. I think that the reality is, like, you don't say no when you have a chance with Kawhi and Paul George. This speaking, like, I don't know how many years ago this was.
2019.
So yeah, like 5-6 years ago here. So that's sort of how that originated. And obviously Shai has found his home in Oklahoma City and been everything that franchise could hope for.
So the Clippers received Paul George.
Yep.
The Thunder, you would think SGA for Paul George is enough, right?
And again, like this Shai was not that Shai. I liked him. I always liked him.
He was still an 11th round pick or 11th overall pick. That's interesting.
I mean, he averaged 10.8 points, 3.3 assists, and 2.8 rebounds per game as a rookie.
Well, how do we get, all right, again, from the Thunder receiving the breakdown of the trade, they got SGA, Gallinari, first round pick, 2021 became Trey Mann. 2022 first round pick became Jalen Williams. 2023 first round pick became Jaime Jaquez. 2023 first round swap. 2024 round pick became Dylan Jones. 2025 first round pick swap. 2026 first round pick. They still have a plethora of picks coming up here, and I believe another Sixers draft pick, if I'm not mistaken.
A ton. But well, they get next year's now because the Sixers got theirs back next
right.
year.
That's right. I'm an idiot. Sorry, I pulled a Kevin Nagandi on that one. I kid, Kevin. I kid. All right. The other question I have for you was, how did Shea become this Shea?
I think like freedom to play through mistakes is probably the most valuable thing that you can give a young player. And like that Clippers team, even before the trade, there were still expectations. Like that was still kind of a team in the mix there that they weren't quite, ready for. Like they were interested in contending in a way that he got sent to Oklahoma City. Like Shea's first couple seasons there, like that 19-20, they went 44-28 this year, so still fine. They went 22-60 or 22-50 the next year, 24-58. 40-42. So that's when they started to kind of make their climb back. But basically, he was handed the keys of like, go figure out exactly who you are as a basketball player. We're going to figure out the right guys around you. How prominent of a face of the franchise can you become? And like, I think for a lot of players, getting that type of opportunity is the hardest thing possible. Sam Hinkie was very much on record talking about that. I was like, that's our development plan, is we're going to give these guys complete chances to play through. It's hard to get that at the NBA level because expectations are so high. So I think that was incredibly beneficial for Shea.
Yeah, look at, and Presti's still there doing it. And you look at the 2 seasons that you have and putting up those records. You do that in a major city, top 5 market, you're getting traded. They're blowing it up. They're moving on. And Oklahoma City, Thibs was the coach in Oklahoma City, gets to the Western Conference Finals. He's not going anywhere.
True.
For the Knicks, though, not good enough. Really crazy, really interesting stuff there. Great job breaking that one down. Once again, revisiting the trade of all things SGA to the Oklahoma City Thunder back in 2019. All right. And some other odds and ends as far as the NBA is concerned. First and foremost, the NBA draft. Anything that you want to add there?
I still feel pretty solidified in Ace Bailey being the guy from the Sixers perspective. I have started really diving in the weeds for draft stuff, which is a blast to me. Feels good to be back here, that we're back in the lock-in, figure out all the prospect stuff. It's going to be very fun. I still feel, I'll say this, I have gotten a sense from the Sixers world right now that it does feel a more and more legitimate possibility of them trading down. I still think it's a must that they walk away with some sort of top prospect. But when you dive into the financials, the CBA side of things, there are some advantages to dropping a couple of slots based on that dollar sign assigned to each specific pick there. That would help them potentially be able to keep a guy like Gershon Yabusele. So there's a lot of moving parts with it. It does feel more likely to me than I felt initially after the lottery went down that they do move down in the draft.
Sam Oshtry still listening to us, had some fun. He shot us a tweet, and he said, I can't believe this used to be the NBA countdown crew. This is back in the day. Tibbs was hired. He was on television. I don't remember this. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's on TV, whatever.
Yeah.
But this NBA countdown crew was Michelle Beadle. I'm a Beadle fan. I like Beadle. Beadle brings it. I like Beadle. Tibbs, Windhorse, and Paul Pierce. That was your countdown crew.
That's where the Knicks really went wrong when they messed with Windhorse, man. It was over. That was bad juju thrown into the atmosphere right there. You can't cross Brian Windhorse.
Yeah, Windhorse is a good one, man. And we'll see what happens there with the Knicks. As I said, that's going to be a hot topic for us all week long, and then some, and we'll find out. We'll figure out who their next candidate will be. We did open up talking a little bit about the Phillies, and the Phillies will be back in action this evening, taking on the Blue Jays. DraftKings Sportsbook, looking at the numbers here, not much movement. Bowden Francis, it's his middle name, Bowden, plus 114. Christopher Sanchez back on the mound for the Fightins at minus 135. 9 is our total in that one, north of the border. First pitch, 7:07 p.m. 4 straight losses, Sean Bernard. I'm starting to panic, starting to feel a little nervous energy in the streets here in Philly.
That was an ugly Brewers series, Brace. That was as ugly of baseball as we've seen all year from this team. Now, to give them a little bit of respect, the Brewers have been red hot and absolutely just smashed the baseball there. I do think like everything that could go wrong did go wrong in that series. I didn't think Rob Thompson was excellent in that, leaving Luzardo to just get whacked around the way that he did. We saw Trey Turner just absolutely have a routine ground ball that he could not handle. Weston
made a ton of errors since he's been with the Phillies.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like I wanted to ask Luke a little bit about this. I think like it's kind of a tough question to throw in his direction. My sense from a lot of like the talking points and the quotes that I read it feels like the frustration is really building with Trey Turner on the defensive side of things. I'm certainly there, but I feel like the organization is starting to get there.
Yeah, look, you expect more when you spend that type of coin on him, and I thought was a much better fielder. Maybe I got that one wrong, but man, it's just brutal watching him out there, and it definitely is cause for concern. We're past that spot.
Oh yeah,
he's not a liability, but he needs to be playing damn better at that position, or else you might have to figure something out. And I know it could be an easy switch for him and Stott, second base short, but I don't know. I don't know if Trey Turner is that good of a fielder these days. So things happen, but
he certainly is not. And that's true. The metrics there,
I meant from go to second. Sure. I don't know if that's going to fix things.
I've seen a lot of the center field proposals and speculation there.
Outfield's tough, man.
He's played it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the move, because I like Stott. Stott can play anywhere.
Yeah.
Put him at short, get Turner out to second, and see if that happens. But
the frustrating stuff is it's like the easy ones that Turner tends to mess up.
Correct.
Like it's like the routine plays that it's like you just have to have that one, man. Like the double play, the game that Ranger pitched, like you have to make that play. And that was costly to the team. It cost him a run. It tied up the game at that current point there. That kind of stuff just can't happen, especially for a dude that's making $300 million. Yeah. Not to be diving into all that, but like the Trey Turner stuff.
Dive into it.
Yeah. The defensive stuff from Trey Turner is really getting frustrating to me.
Sanchez last time out, 5 2/3 against the Braves, 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned, and struck out. I thought I had that number. Oh, strikeouts 5. I hate when they do that. Just put the case. 5 strikeouts in that one against the A's. Previous time before that, 6 strikeouts. Again, Phillies ended up winning that one in 11. Gave up 3 earned there. And the previous one against the Rockies, 6. So it's most likely he's going to go 6 innings if that's how it plays out, which hopefully will be the case. Blue Jays are a good team, have a good offense, have been playing a little bit better. I think they're floating right around 500 in one of their tougher divisions. Again, AL East. So I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to fix it. It is a road game. But with Sanchez on the mound, you have to like the Phillies to find a victory here to open up north of the border with the victory. That's where I would go. Number 1. We got to put something. We're going out in the town. We got to get a wager in.
Yeah, I was kind of scrolling through right now. I was looking at the Sanchez strikeouts a little bit. I guess
what's your number?
So I'm seeing 5.5. We can get some plus money.
I like that.
I don't mind that out of Sanchez.
Let's do it. Let's go over. Let's get over 5.5.
Over 5.5.
Phillies money line.
Okay. Phillies money line. What do you like, Harper?
What did Luke say? Is he going back to Schwarber?
Schwarber, he said.
That's an easy one. Well, you know what? We're not going to doubt Luke. He's on this show. We gotta ride his words here.
That's true.
Can't just dog Luke like that. He's giving the people a wager. We got to believe in it. Let's go, man. Come on, Bryce.
Ah, Lord.
All right.
We go home run with Schwarber, or do we go the?
I'm a total base guy because then you can live.
Okay.
You eat.
Okay. A 1.5 you like for Schwarbs?
Definitely.
Okay, so if we do that, punch that together, we're getting in the neighborhood of plus 500.
There it is. That's the play.
Okay.
That's the play. So we're going Phillies money line. We went
5.5 strikeouts.
5.5 strikeouts for the pitcher's prop there. I get so many pop-ups. Just my phone, sorry. Over 4.5 for strikeouts there, but we're going 5.5 at minus 145.
5. Yes. I like the
or 5 plus.
5 plus. So that would be 5.5 is 6 plus. So let me hop back on this.
So Christopher Sanchez here is a 4.5 at minus 145 plus 110.
We're getting some intel from our guy Kyle Fisher here saying Harper and Schwarber both have a home run against Francis already. He's only thrown 7 innings across 2 appearances.
See?
Look at that.
So I'm talking about Kyle Fisher. He'll be on the show tomorrow. And then let me find the total bases. Total bases batter props. Great for live radio here. Total bases, and we went with
Schwarber 1.5,
2 plus Schwarber. So I'm at plus 350. Money line 2 plus for Schwarber total bases, over 4.5 strikeouts thrown, plus 350. I'll take that.
Okay, let's roll with it.
Or do we want to get a little risky and throw a little Harper in there too as well? Let's do it.
Okay,
let's throw Harper in there total bases.
So Harper, Schwarber, Sanchez strikeouts, Phillies money line.
Plus 650. I like it. Let's do it.
There we go.
That sounds like a win to me. We'll see if we're recapping a dub tomorrow on the Daily Ticket. 20 will get you 120. All right, we got something to root for. We're heading down to the F1 arcade, and we'll let you know how everything was tomorrow on the show. No idea. This place popped up out of nowhere. I got an invite. All I know is Jazzy Jeff is the DJ, and Mick Boogie. You don't know Mick Boogie, Sean, but you should.
I do not.
Dude is about as talented as it gets when it comes to the world of DJing. Put together so many summer playlists, and was based off of Summertime from Will Smith. Would always open up with like a different version of Summertime, and then just his mixes are so good. Honestly, some of the best mixes that I can remember. DJ Mick Boogie's gonna be down there as well, rolling out the red carpet. I plan on racing. I don't plan on losing. If you're not first, you're last.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeehaw! All right. What are you working on over at DraftKings?
Me, doing some of the off-season content, starting to pump up the football stuff a little bit. So we're getting into the NFL waters. We're diving into the rumor game a little bit over on the site. So trying to get on the NBA action from that. I have been pitching that a decent bit. So cranking out that stuff. Finals content will be all over the place, taking that from just about every single angle. So as much as I can get my hands on there.
Nice work by you. Final thoughts before we get out of here. Once again, folks, tickpick.com. Download the app, have it on your phone, use it for concerts, of course, sporting events, you name it. Check out what they have to offer. No hidden fees. There's a lot that's changing due to rules/laws in different states. But the one thing is everybody's trying to catch up to TickPick because they don't have hidden fees. Some of the things that people are going through right now is like, after it's all said and done, you click on this and next thing you know, they're adding like $30 more on. That's not what happens at TickPick. All the other places that it does happen, you shouldn't be following. You shouldn't be using them anymore. Tickpick.com. They roll with the Philadelphia Eagles right here in Philly. That's what we've been starting to use. And one of the things that I did last week was I was looking at Penn State and Villanova tickets coming up on September the 13th. Villanova Wildcats taking on the Nittany Lions. Nittany Lions could be number 1 overall in the country. That's a heck of a game.
Drew Aller season.
Yeah, tickpick.com. They got some cheap tickets right now. So hop on that because week 3 of the college football season will be here before we know it. Once again, download the app. Check out everything they have to offer at tickpick.com. Sean Menard, great job. Sam Oshtry, great job. Luke Arcaini, fantastic. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Brand new Daily Ticket. Go Phils, all right? Please, we need a win. One more time for the people in the back.
Goodbye! This September, our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Presented by Capital One is coming back to Las Vegas.
And you can